GNCC returns for the 2024 season here on Racer TV. And to set the stage for the 2024 season, Craig DeLong coming off the national championship aboard his Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. He was challenged throughout the year, but was the only rider to walk away with not one, not two, but 3 wins throughout the year. We saw 7 different winners in 7 rounds of racing. It was truly a historic season with a total of 8 different winners in 13 rounds. Now, Craig DeLong, he's the man with a target on his back. He will rock that number 1 plate. He'll be challenged. Who will challenge him? Well, we'd be remiss not to mention Stu Baylor, the 514. Let's call it what it is. Stu Baylor is all in on 2024. He has the bike he wants. He has the team he wants. He's got everything going for Stu Baylor right now. He has got to make it happen here in 2024. It's a long year, but Stu seems very, very focused on the task at hand. He has that one thing looming just outside that checklist, and that is an XC1 National Championship. Ben Kelly coming off an injury. We hope to see him later in the season, but nonetheless, the window and the door is open. Jordan Ashburn, a new ride for him on the gas. What does the former national champion have in store? And we've got to think about Johnny Gerard. Something about Johnny Gerard under the KTM rig is looming. Looking, searching. Is this the year Johnny Gerard puts it all together, stays healthy, has the finishes he needs to be a contender? The list goes on and on. And it all starts right here, right now on RacerTV.com.
Are you ready to go? GNCC Racing!
Good afternoon and welcome to round number 1 of the 2024 Progressive Grand National Cross Country Racing Series presented by Specialized, your AMA National Championship. We are back in Union, South Carolina for this, the VP Racing Fuels Big Buck GNCC. Johnny Gallagher, hey, new season, it's the same us. We're here to do some racing, and hey, Craig DeLong coming off his first national championship, and obviously, hey, he's the guy with the target on his back coming into today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 3 champions in 3 years, 3 new champions in 3 years. Last year, parity like we've never seen before. GNCC racing, 7 XC1 and overall winners in the first 7 rounds. Ended up with 8 overall winners total. We saw battles back through the pack. We've seen 6, 7, 8 guys battling for a win late in the race. We've never seen that in bike racing in GNCC history. It was an exciting year. It ended up with a new champion, and I can't imagine that it's not going to be more of the same obviously in 2024.
Yeah, it was anybody's championship for really those first 7 rounds. I mean, it was, like you said, the parity, everything. Craig DeLong was the guy who stood out as the only guy with 3 wins. He was consistent, and that's what paid off. Kind of reminiscent of the Jordan Ashburn championship with the consistency. So we know that. We've learned that over the last few years. Really, since Caleb has retired, it's who's going to be that guy to step up. As you mentioned, 3 different champions in the last 3 seasons. Can someone come and step up and be that 2-time champ? Craig's got the advantage there. Let's talk about some of the other guys, though. We have to mention Stu Baylor.
Sure.
Stu has always kind of had what seems like that one thing that held him back. Outside looking in, and probably in his perspective as well, you have the team you want. You have the machine you want. You have everything is in place. All those boxes are checked, and the thing we always make a mistake is thinking we have more time.
Yeah.
Stu knows I don't have very many years left of doing this and competing at this level. He has to make it happen this year.
And Stu himself has said that in post-race interviews. Like, if I'm going to get this done, I don't have too many years left. And that was probably 2 years ago.
Right.
So, you know, he knows he's counting down the years. Not that he's that old, but, you know, it's just one of those things where you got to get it figured out to get it done. He's obviously got the speed. He's obviously got the talent. You know, he works hard. It's just, like you said, it's always that one little thing that holds him back. You know, last year we saw a few races where he scored no points or very few points due to some different issues, where Craig was just Mr. Consistency. I think he had one 11th place finish, and that was his only round where he was really out of the top 5, I believe. So consistency won the championship in 2023. 2024, you know, you mentioned some guys we got to mention. Ben Kelly not with us to start the season. One of last year's championship contenders, and the 2021 GNCC champion. You know, you got to believe that, you know, he was wanting to come back gunning for that championship in 2024. Unfortunately, an injury that kind of developed throughout last season, had to have surgery. We'll be missing at least the first 9 rounds of 2024. So we'll see how that pans out. So many other players, though, in the mix, guys that have always been there, you know, new guys coming up through, and it's interesting to see. Obviously, we've got new teams. Josh Strang on the factory Sherco, a former Babbitt's Monster Energy Kawasaki rider. You've got Grant Baylor. We've already had some racing in other series, so we've got a little bit of preview of how things are going, but a lot of guys. I mean, Johnny Gerard, obviously always fast. You've got Trevor Bollinger. You've got, I mean, run them down. There's so many.
Ryder Lafferty, what can he do in the XC1 class?
Moving up to that XC1 class. And one of the things I thought of this morning when I was kind of looking at the points from last year, you talk about, they say do the extra work. It's not crowded at the top. That's like a saying. Disagree. In GNCC racing, it's pretty crowded at the top right now. That's very true. When you have 8 different winners in a season and 7 in 7 rounds, there's a lot of guys vying for that top position, and it makes for exciting viewing for the people at home and us here at the track. It just makes it awesome.
That's absolutely correct. But like we said it from the start, the man with the target on his back is Craig DeLong, and Zach Herron is standing by with him right now.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm down here with your reigning XC1 champ, Craig DeLong. Craig, first of all, how are you doing, man? How was your offseason, and how are you feeling here at round 1?
I'm good. Off-season was good, feeling prepared, and yeah, just ready to go. The off-season always feels short, but as it gets closer, you get more excited and just ready to get going, because for a majority of us here, this is all we do, right? We race, it's a hobby, and we all enjoy being here. So we don't do it for a while, we miss it. So happy to be here, happy to be back, and yeah, should be ready to go.
Absolutely. Well, not only are you back, but you're back with the #1 plate, man. How does it feel to be running the #1? A lot of talk about, you know, there's weight behind that #1 plate. How do you feel about that and being the reigning champ here?
I don't know. The only thing, it just looks different to me, honestly. The goal is still the same, is to win races and try to defend it. And you know, if you go out and win races and put yourself in good positions, you know, you should be able to back it up. So that's my plan, is, you know, not to defend it or, you know, do it, but just to go out and win races. And you know, if I can do that and do my job, that's all I can do.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about Big Buck. Some divided opinions. Some riders seem to be a big fan, some not so big of a fan here. What's your opinions here at Big Buck? You got a good top 5 finish last year. How are you feeling about the track this year?
Yeah, I'm excited. This place has always been pretty good to me. I've had some decent rides here, and yeah, for the first round, it's good. It's nothing crazy. It's not like it's deep sand or super hot like it is in Florida. So it's a good start to the season. The track is good. I enjoy this place. I should say most of the time when it's super dry and hard packed, that's kind of my least favorite. But I don't mind it. I don't really have a favorite or not favorite track. So you know, I'm 50-50. So it should be good.
Well, there we go, guys. You heard it from the champ himself, Craig DeLong, ready to do battle here at Big Buck.
All right. Well, thanks for that update there, Zach. And, you know, Craig DeLong, our 2023 champion coming in, I have to make an observation. Like he may be the most nonchalant, blasé, you know, coming into the season, but that's just who Craig is. He's not acting. You know, he doesn't seem like he's any different now with the weight of that #1 plate. He's just here, and he said, I'm not focused on defending. I'm focused on getting wins, and we know what happens when you win races. You're in the battle for a championship.
Yeah, that's it. Craig is cool, calm, and collected as always. I love to see it. Hey, you've heard from us. You've gotten Craig DeLong's perspective on today, but what are we facing out there on the track? For that, we'll throw it to Jared Bolton for our Yamaha Racing course description.
Well, thanks, guys, and welcome back to the 2024 GNCC racing season. It's awesome to be back racing, and there's no better place to do it than right here at the Big Buck Farm. This is an awesome piece of property. We've been coming here for a long time, and that's for a good reason. The track here is really fun, and this year's probably one of my more favorite big buck courses we've ever had. Big buck tends to be a little bit on the faster side, but there's places that it slows it down, gets a little tighter, kind of cuts up some of the faster sections as well. And you never feel like you're going that fast here. It's not what you would call a sketchy fast. It's more of a flowy, really fun, kind of fast, kind of tight, a little bit of rock. You know, a lot of people think you go to South Carolina, you're going to find sand. Well, here at Big Buck, there's actually a little bit of rock to find as well. So overall, beautiful place to have a race, and it's going to be an awesome year of racing. Can't wait to get it started. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Jared. Now we've seen what these guys are going to go out and do battle on, and it's going to be an exciting day. We're getting ready for it, but right now we got to let Mikey Waynes go. He's going to do some 10 seconds calls, get these guys off and rolling. We're going to get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with all the live racing action on Racer TV.
You know, when I take the bike out like this, all my stresses just melt away.
I hear that. This bad boy can fix anything.
Yep, tough day at work. Nice cruiser sorts you right out.
When I'm riding, I'm not even thinking about my painful cavity.
Oh, you shouldn't ignore that.
And every time I get stressed about having to pay my bills, I just hop on the bike, man.
Oh, come on, man. You gotta pay your bills.
You don't have to worry about anything when you're protected by America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
Well, you definitely do. Those things aren't related, so...
Ah, yee! Oh, that is a vibrating pain.
It's a big world out there. How do you choose to see it? When you crave the long canyons, rocky trails, rutted tracks, and lonely highways, they become a part of you. Podiums and personal records, we choose it all. Because life is about moving and feeling. It's about being connected to the adventure. Some just never pull the trigger. They keep waiting, wondering what it means to wander. It's a big world out there. You just need to ride where you belong.
GNCC Racing on Racer TV is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You could save hundreds on car and motorcycle insurance. Specialized turbo e-bikes. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready.
For 40 days. I've been searching for holy flames, a sign to light up the way. So can you help me out? Can you help me out?
welcome to everybody watching at home on RacerTV.com. This is the Progressive Grand National Cross Country Racing Series presented by Specialized, your AMA National Championship. We're here in Union, South Carolina for the VP Racing Fuels Big Buck GNCC. And folks at home, you tuned in just in time as we ask everybody here on the property for your undivided attention. And we like to ask you to please remove your hats and cross your hearts as we honor the greatest nation in the world with the singing of our national anthem by Union, South Carolina's own Amy House.
Oh, see, can you see by the dawn's early lines what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, all right, all right. If that does not get the adrenaline going, mercy sakes alive, check your pulse. We are just about ready to go GNCC racing now. That was Amy House, Union, South Carolina's own. Rock Glover in house with us at Dunlop here this weekend. Love to see it. I see Ricky Towery over there by Craig. Do I have Big John throw a hand up, or maybe Ricky's ready? We want to meet this XC1 Pro class. Where is my Big John? Maybe just, oh, there he is. And there's Jeremy. Okay, now we're cooking. Waiting on the thumbs up, and then we're going to introduce you to the XC1 Pro class. You ready, Big John? You ready? Okay, I got a thumbs up. Let's rock and roll, baby. All right, rolling to the line first. The #1, your defending national champion out of Morgantown, Pennsylvania, aboard the Rockstar Energy Factory Racing Husqvarna, Craig DeLong. Rolling to the line next, the 514 out of Hodges, South Carolina, aboard the Rocky Mountain Red Bear Kawasaki, Stu Baylor. Rolling to the line next, the #3 out of Livingston, Tennessee, aboard the Coastal Racing Factory Gas, Jordan Ashburn. Rolling to the line next, the 212 out of Duval, Washington, riding aboard the M-Pro Yamaha. He's rough, he's rowdy, Ricky Russell. Rolling to the line next, the 314 out of Hodges, South Carolina,
Make that Honia Path, South Carolina. Sorry, buddy. Aboard the Babbitt's Online Monster Energy Team Green Kawasaki, the Grizzly Grant Baylor. Rolling to the line next, the number 7, a rider out of Australia. Aboard the JS Sherco Racing, Mac Sherco, Josh String. Rolling to the line next, the 969 out of North Carolina on a FMF Factory Racing KTM, Johnny Gerard. Rolling to the line next, the 739 out of Morganton, North Carolina, aboard the Rockstar Energy Factory Racing Husqvarna, Trevor Bollinger. Rolling to the line next, the 523 out of Boonville, North Carolina, on a Morgantown Power Sports and Teely Energy back KTM, Lane Michael. Rolling to the line next, the 356 out of Hollister, California, aboard the FMF Factory Racing KTM. Welcome to GNCC, Dante Oliveira. Rolling to the line next, the 347 out of Jefferson, Georgia, aboard the Husqvarna. Evan Smith. Sorry about that, Evan. Rolling to the line next, the 543 rider out of Australia on the KTM Australia back ride, Riley McGilvery. Rolling to the line next, the 336 officially making his debut in the XC1 class out of Elkin, North Carolina, on the Coastal Racing Factory Gas, Ryder Lafferty. Rolling to the line next, the 178 rider out of Australia, aboard the Babbitt's Online Monster Energy Team Green Kawasaki, Lyndon Snodgrass. And last but certainly not least, the 282 out of Travelers Rest, South Carolina, aboard the Phoenix Racing Honda, Mike Wachowski. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your starting row for the XC1 Pro Class here at the VP Racing Fuels Big Buck GNCC. And now all eyes will turn down into turn number 1 as DJ Judd hops into the R-Max 1000 Yamaha. Exiting the Monster Energy Activation Transport, this is where we like to say, DJ Judd, remove the meats. Hiya. As DJ Judd making his way off of the starting line. I gotta ask, Big John, can we move everybody? Can we move everybody? That's probably perfect for me right there. Now I can see my whole shot. We're money, baby. We're money. I'm needy. High drama. Steel City Medical Center got a whole shot award up for grabs for the XC1 class. Big shout out to those folks. Are you my bouncer? Let's go. More than Scott goggles, baby. I love it. I love it. So all eyes turn down into turn number 1, where we go as Ricky goes. And we are waiting on the okay, safe to race. Let's see what he lets our riders know. I know we were on a little bit of a delay, but not a huge one. Ricky Towery going through the motions. I think we might be ready. Yeah, we are, baby. 1 minute. 1 minute. Until we're ready to go. VP Racing Fuels, Big Buck GNCC Racing. As Ricky now will step forward. He's going to look down at the watch. He's going to watch the clock, and we go as Ricky goes. There we go. Blue flag waves, blue flag waves. Shut them down, shut them down, shut them down. As we are about ready to roll now, and I got to ask you, Union, South Carolina, round number 1. Are you ready to go GNCC Racing? Ooh, that's pretty good, but by God, it's round 1. We're all undefeated. We're all hyped. We're all amped. I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you ready to go GNCC Racing? 10 seconds for round number 1, the XC1 Pro. Bang, and they're off. Ricky Russell with a good drive right up the inside. How's it going to translate? Look out, fellas. Here they come. Oh, taking it away is the 212. Rough and rowdy Ricky Russell grabbing that Steel City Medical Center Whole Shot Award aboard the Ampro Yamaha. And now we set things up for the XC2 class. Rui Barbosa, Tyler Palmer, Gus Reardon, Cody Barnes, Liam Draper, Josh Toth, Toby Cleveland. Blue flag waves, we got them shut down. Brody Johnson, Jesse Ansley, Daniel Elmore, Jason Liscombe, Grant Davis, Jonathan Johnson, and Bad Duval. Ready to roll in 10 seconds. Bang, here we go. 981 out in front, got a good drive. That's Jonathan Johnson. Does it turn into a whole shot? Yes, ma'am, it does. Putting that beta machine to work, grabbing the Steel City Medical Center Whole Shot Award in the XC2 class. As we turn our attention now to the FMF XC3 125 class. LoJack Cycle Sales Whole Shot Award up for grabs. 10 seconds. Zachary Davidson, Jeffrey Werner, James Churn III, Dakota DeVore, Sawyer Caratoria, Jack Walker, Joe Shriver, and they call him Dirt Bike Jesus. That's Dustin Simpson. 927. Oh, from my angle, it looked like the 545 of Sawyer Caratoria. May have to look at the tape on that one. That was close. Good fight. Here we go. 10 seconds. Open A. Dylan T. De La Cruz, Kenton Coleman, Cole Whitmer, Samuel Evans, Neil Enman, Daniel Spurgeon, Austin Hovatter, Alex Luger, Gary Greer. We're good and clean through turn 1. We come into the whole shot area, and that's going to be the 040 of Cole Whitmer. Grabbing the whole shot and early lead right there. Here we go with a 250A now. Lane Whitmer, JoJo Cunningham, Ranger Emmons, Thor Powell, Cooper Jones, Bubs, Tasha, Jason Tino, Nick DeFeo, T-Rex. 10 seconds. Gavin Simon, Hunter Bush, Will Stephenpiper, Mark Fortner, Ian Potter, Daniel Fortner, George Kolowski, Mike DeLosa, Jeffrey Dunham. Oh, no doubt about it, T-Rex, the 246. Grabbing a whole shot and early lead right there. That is Nick DeFeo doing his thing out front. Ooh, late start for the 441. Got some time to make up right there. As we turn our attention now to the 150A. David Johnson, 10 seconds. Tyler Shields, Tucker Kenry, Rayleigh Messer, Trevor Foster, Zane Mack, CJ Dollarhide, Michael Meyer, Anthony Roche, Kiefer Galliano, Cretan Noltcamper, Caleb Lane, Landon Hines, Sion Connery, Chase Hayes, Aiden Myers. Oh man, way too close to call, but it looked like the 199 may have grabbed that one. 4-stroke A lights, Mercy, Sakes Alive. Look at this start line, 10 seconds. 43 riders in total. Colton Shields, Van Adams, Adam Holenkamp, Robert Weiss, Roar, here we go, 369. Dang, she fine. Grabbing the whole shot. That's Caleb Baltimore. I had to say dang. We got to church it up a little bit, boys and girls. It is Sunday after all. Can't say those exact lyrics, but boy, great hole shot right there. Junior A, 25 plus. Jeremy Wallstrom, Andrew Boggs, Brandon Moore, ready to roll in 10 seconds. Who's got the funk? Michael's got the funk. Russell Smith, Benjamin Fricks, Coleman Brinson, Matthew Dreyer, Tyler Braniff, Jason Key, Jeremy Bunk, Mario Tonchev, Wyatt Ford, Joshua Track, Justin Leonard, Aaron Higgins, Cody Meeks. How about that? That was the 817 of Forrest Smith on the KTM out of Greenwell, Louisiana. Grabbing that hole shot an early lead. As we turn our attention now to the Vet A, 30 plus, Mark Carrasco Jr., Mesquez Gomez, Robbie Norwood, 10 seconds. Kevin Depew, James Bauer, Charlie Torzani, Scott Hopper, Heath Francisco, Julio Lubiana, Brandon Dimmer, Walsley Teixeira, Geraldus Melo, Jermaine Lanthier, 468, no doubt about that one. That's Daniel Sims on that Dreyer Motorsports backed ride, grabbing the whole shot and early lead right there. There you go, buddy, back home. Jonathan Schaff is smiling right now. Good job, Daniel Sims. Senior A, 40 plus right now. On the line and ready to roll. Got him shut down. Joe Marsh, Frank Messina, Steve Meacham, Cody Hosta, ready to go. 10 seconds. Joshua Wyatt, Fabian Barada, Leonardo Silva, Robert Johnson, Andy Shea, Augustino De Souza, Joe Potter, Jeremy Zajic, Scott Abels, William O'Brien, Brent Loker, Buddy Barnes, Brian Restarski, Nathan Allring, and Shane Lenning. Oh, 3-1-1, and I think that was a 3-6-2 maybe of Andy Shea. Tight handlebar to handlebar, just how we like it. Here we go, Open B, 32 entries, 10 seconds. Arton Shelley, Nate Garrison, John Bottomy, Chris Gates, Corbin Chase, Hayden Van Kuren, Tyler Delaney, Noah Taylor, Timothy Bailey, Devin Bodkin, Stephen Humphrey, Blake Freiberger, Nathaniel Gibbs, Kyle McCannon, Preston Barngrover, Mark Cole. Oh, that's going to be tight. Oh, I think the 438 grabs it. That's Cameron McCoy, rider out of Petersburg, Illinois, aboard the Husqvarna, making the grown man move to pull the whole shot. Now can he keep it up for 3 hours? 250B coming up next. Devin Moore, Evan Howard, Brady Robbins, 10 seconds. Kevin Paquin, Ty Atkinson, Ryan Arnold, Benjamin Ferdowski, Gage Clayton, Brandon Billing, Jonathan Ruby, Augustine Spagau, Noah Ritz, Lennox Riley. We're good and clean down there. Coming at you, Colt Noltkamper. Oh, man. 273 on the back of the jersey. I think that's the same as a helmet. Kevin Pekin, rider out of Quebec, grabbing the whole shot right there. 150B, 10 seconds. Noah McGraw, Jarman Lilly, Landon Wentz, Corey Armstrong, Gavin Hampton, Landon Phillips, Ashton Lambert, Ryder Segedy, Calvin Matthews, James Simpson, Malcolm Smith, Jaden Ferris, Jaden Schlegel, Mason Sakanikas, Julian Loy. Whole shot's going to go to the 449, or the 499 rather, of James Simpson on that Running Lights Beverage and Digital Technology Solutions backed Yamaha. 10 seconds. Four-stroke B lights. Drew Hoffman, TJ Brown, Ethan Harwell, Landon Workman, Justin Ingram, Aiden Richardson, Jacob Mitchell, Samuel Tessner, Austin Hale, Eli Sanford, Bryce Woodrum, as well as Caden Annam, Jacob McPherson, Meatball. Whoa, 079. I think he grabs it at the last second. That was Drew Hoffman on that Fly Racing and 100% backed Kawasaki. Grabbing a whole shot and early lead right there. Here we go, Junior B, 25 plus, 10 seconds. Adam Machinsky, Cole Johnson, Hayden Finner, Matthew McCormick, Max Johnson, Devin Hall, Joseph Warner, Tracy Coy, Jeremy Johnston, Douglas Randolph, Tommy Gardner, Zach Cummings, Aaron Waldrop, and Billy Saliga. The 1-3 out in front. What's the number on the helmet? The 371. That's Cole Johnson out of Livingston, Tennessee, on the Yamaha, grabbing a whole shot and early lead right there. As we turn our attention now, Vet B, 30 plus, 10 seconds. Sean Natasi, Corey Milhack, Greg Mishzak, big line right here. Look at this. 40 riders in total. Kyle Zigman, Colin Ferris, Corey King, Stephen McGrowan, Tyler Crary, Richard Setzer, Bora Obesia, Garrett Kuhn. 457's going to grab the whole shot. That is Corey Mooten out of Louisiana on that JP Oil back ride. As the blue flag waves, Senior B, 40 plus, ready to roll. Oh, one more rider getting off the line. Hot track, 589. They got some work to do. You'll be okay. I believe in you. Make some noise as he goes by. 10 seconds. Larry Hopper, Josh Howard, Jonathan Zepka, Jimmy Betcher, Jason McNally, Adam Nastic, Misleno Batista, Louis Daniel Pia Abrera. Make sure we got a good, safe track for you. We're good right there on the start. They come around turn number 1 into the hole shot, and it's going to be the 329 of Josh Howard out of Lexington, Kentucky, on that Central Kentucky Motorsports back ride with the hole shot and the early lead. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The 2024 season well underway. Two-wheel racing. Who's going to take it? Who's going to set the foundation for a championship season today? We'll take a short break, get a word in from our sponsors, and we'll be back with more from the VP Racing Fuels Big Buck GNCC.
You know, when I take the bike out like this, all my stresses just melt away.
I hear that. This bad boy can fix anything.
Yep, tough day at work. Nice cruiser sorts you right out.
When I'm riding, I'm not even thinking about my painful cavity.
Oh, you shouldn't ignore that.
And every time I get stressed about having to pay my bills, I just hop on the bike, man.
Oh, come on, man. You gotta pay your bills.
You don't have to worry about anything when you're protected by America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
Well, you definitely do. Those things aren't related, so...
Ah, yee! Oh, that is a vibrating pain.
It's a big world out there. How do you choose to see it? When you crave the long canyons, rocky trails, rutted tracks, and lonely highways, they become a part of you. Podiums and personal records, we choose it all. Because life is about moving and feeling. It's about being connected to the adventure. Some just never pull the trigger. They keep waiting, wondering what it means to wander. It's a big world out there. You just need to ride where you belong.
Whatever you drive, however you drive. AMSOIL specially engineers lubricants to maximize power, performance, and protection in your vehicles, so you can work hard and play hard with confidence. Order online at amsoil.com.
Unleash aggression, reliability, and premium quality with Kenda tires. Delivering exceptional performance on all types of vehicles. Automotive, ATVs, UTVs, motorcycles, bicycles, trailers, lawn and garden, and even golf. Trust Kenda Tires to guide you on your next adventure. Kenda, designed for your journey.
GNCC Racing on Racer TV is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You can save hundreds on car and motorcycle insurance. Specialized turbo e-bikes. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready.
Hello everyone and welcome back to round number 1 of the 2024 Progressive Grand National Cross Country Series presented by Specialized. My name is Jackson Burrow and I'm alongside Zach Heron to bring you today's action. Stay tuned as Zach takes us through the start recap.
Thanks, Jackson. Yeah, what a weekend. We have already had a great day of four-wheeled racing action yesterday, and we're dropping a couple of wheels but keeping the same intensity here on Sunday as our pro bikes have just taken the track. Let's take a look at this Specialized start recap, starting out with your XC1 class. A lot of big names coming into the season, a lot of new teams on the starting line as well. So it was anybody's guess who was going to start things off with a bang and get the early race lead. There we go. When the green flag came up, it was a great drive from the center of the start line. The Ampro Yamaha of Ricky Russell hugs in close, battling it out with Johnny Girard on that FMF Red Bull KTM, but it looks like it was going to be the 2-1-2 machine of Ricky Russell grabbing the whole shot, heading into the woods. Now, as you can see, a couple of KTMs funneling in behind him, so a whole lot of orange up front early. You also see, look like Josh Strang making a couple of moves there in the first few corners inside the woods. Now we take a look at the XC2 class. Once again, a strong jump from the center of the start line, and it's one of the Liqui-Moly Beta bikes with a pump in the air. Gonna have to get you a number on that one, but one of the Betas not only grabbing the whole shot, but excited to do just that, and they were gonna carry it, I believe, all the way into the woods. A couple of those Landers Racing KTMs sneaking up there as well. The FMF XC3 125 Pro-Am class, one of the best sounding and smelling classes we have here at GNCC, and it was the 545. No stranger to the front of the field, hugging that inside, swinging a little wide as they heard it into turn 2. Still believe they're going to be credited with that whole shot. And man, oh man, if the first 3 corners are that exciting, Jackson, I can only tell you what these next 3 hours are going to look like, and that is action-packed and tons of fun to watch. That was your Specialized start recap. And now we take a look, dropping into the woods. There it is, your leaders on screen. So Ricky Russell leads the way. Looks like that's Johnny Girard in second, Lane Michael third. There's your defending champ, Craig DeLong, in the 4th place spot aboard that Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Behind him, that is, I believe, one of the Gas riders. There is Dante Oliveira filling in for Ben Kelly on that KTM machine. And wow, look at this, Jackson. Absolutely nose to tail still here in your XC1 class. I mean, that was pretty much your entire starting lineup, all within a bike length or two of one another. Now we take a look a little further down the field. And man, look at the fans turning out here for round 1. Looks like we're going to take a look at your Yamaha Racing track map. We heard it yesterday, Jackson, a whole lot of different obstacles and options here at Big Buck. This thing's got a little bit of everything from the tightness to the speed, roots, rocks, a little bit of slick spots as well, we found out. But overall, great weather, dry conditions, going to make for a great day of racing here at Big Buck.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Zach. You can see our camera that we are looking at now behind the track map is at mile marker number 8. You'll see on the bottom side of the left of your screen. And man, what a course we have this year at Big Buck. According to some of the track crew, it is one of the best tracks they think they have ever had here at Big Buck. Big Buck established in 1997, so that's saying a lot.
Absolutely, yeah. Been one of the longest running stops on the circuit. And even our very own trail boss, Jared Bolton, says, as many laps as I've spun around this course, this might be one of my favorite layouts. And it seems like the racers feel the same way as well. So not only did the racers show up, but the fans have shown up as well. Let's talk about the points. The top 10 overall from last year. Craig DeLong getting the job done and getting that XC1 championship, just edging out Stuart Baylor, finishing second. Now, Ben Kelly going to round out the season in third. Unfortunately, Ben not going to be with us to start the season due to a hip injury, but he's healing up. I know he's probably watching right now. Ben, we wish you the best, and we want to see you back out here soon. It was your reigning champion of last year, Jordan Ashburn, coming into the 4th place spot. Kind of a quiet season for Jordan, but a solid top 5 finish. Ricky Russell had some big ups and some big downs throughout 2023. He wound up 5th last year. Grant Baylor, Josh Strang, and the rest of the field, not only did they finish inside the top 10, but they're revamped up, they're re-energized, and they're refocused to go after this 2024 Progressive GNCC title And so now we wait with bated breath, as we like to say here in the truck, to see our leaders. And it looks like that might be our leader popping on screen right now. And it is not the Ampro Yamaha anymore. It looks like it is Johnny Gerard taking over the #1 spot as they approach the hill climb for the first time. There is Ricky Russell in the second spot. Craig DeLong now moves into third. I believe that was still Lane Michael fourth. Couldn't quite tell the number on what looked to be a gas machine. That, I believe, is Stu Baylor headed up the hill, followed by, I believe that was Oliveira on the KTM. Yes. Couldn't quite tell who that one rider was behind him as well. But the battle on screen right now, our Yamaha Racing live drone takes a look. And that looks like that might have been 2 KTMs. Can't quite make out who we've got there. But one thing I can tell, look at the line options. We saw some of this yesterday in the 4-wheel racing action. A little more freedom to move about here in the 2-wheel side of things. As we welcome Johnny G into the truck. Johnny, we saw how much the different lines came into play yesterday. We're expecting more of the same today.
Yep. Oh, there we go. We're in. Absolutely. You know, it's and where you have multi-lines. So this is actually the XC2 class coming in. I thought that was. So they backed up with the drone there because here's our hill climb. I saw a blue fender in there, so one of the Yamahas up front, but not leading the way in the X. I didn't see actually who got the whole shot in the XC2 class.
It was one of the beta riders, but we couldn't quite tell what the number was.
Oh, you know, it was Jay Lipscomb, 707. I did see it.
With the hand pump, okay.
Yep,
so
I didn't
shout
see
out
if he
Jay
held
Lipscomb.
it, but I knew he was right up front there going into the first corner. But,
and that might be Lipscomb right there, yeah, the blue front fender.
Oh, see that? I see blue front fender. I immediately think Yamaha. Turns out it was a beta, so they got those things lighting up quick. But, you know, what we're going to see today as far as the lines developing, obviously where you have 2 lines for ATVs, that's essentially more or less in most situations 4 lines for dirt bikes. They can just fit through places that the ATVs can't. They can link lines together differently. So what was from some of our contenders yesterday, we heard a little bit of a difficult track to pass on. Today, tons of passing opportunities for these guys. And there's your leader on screen, the 969 of Johnny Gerard. And, you know, it's a quick start for him and the 212 of Ricky Russell. I'll tell you right now, Craig DeLong looks like he's on a mission. And if I had to guess why, Johnny Gerard is bad fast right now is what everybody's talking. Nobody wants to let this guy get out front and get away. He's been that way for a few years, even when he was in the XC2 class. The struggle for Johnny has been keeping it on 2 wheels and keeping himself focused. He has gotten a GNCC XC1 win last year. But, you know, for him to start off quick, keep in mind, he got the whole shot last year in 2023, and in his own words, he diced his way to the back of the pack.
Now, talking to Johnny just a little bit earlier this weekend, he was sitting there, and I was like, well, how are we feeling coming into round 1? He said, I can't remember if it was staples or stitches, but he had 20-something staples in his elbow, I believe, last year coming into round 1. So he said, I'm feeling a whole lot better and a whole lot more competitive. And I believe we were actually able to catch up with Johnny a little bit earlier this weekend and talk to him here for the Racer TV cameras.
I feel good. I feel a lot better than last year with 21 staples in my arm. So. No, I had a good off season. It was pretty short. I had ISD, and then we were right back down in Florida, you know, less than a month. So, yeah, I feel like I kept the ball rolling. I feel good and healthy, and, yeah, feeling fiery. And definitely a lot riding on my shoulders this year with racing 3 series. And, yeah, a little added pressure, but I like pressure. It's good. It, you know, it puts you in a spot where, you know, it's, I guess, do or die situation. So I like it. I feel good. You know, they definitely, I guess, did a good job. Everyone was complaining how fast it was, so they did a good job at, you know, putting up some chicanes and S-ing it a little bit more. And, you know, the dirt looks prime, looks perfect conditions. Not much dust at all. I mean, people are saying it's dry, but I think it looks pretty perfect out there. So I feel good, and I feel good coming off 2 sprint wins, and just did my first national enduro and landed on the box there in 3rd. And yeah, I'm looking forward to starting the GNCC season.
So there we go, hearing from the FMF Red Bull KTM rider himself, and he brings up a good point. Oftentimes when we come to the Big Buck Farms property, we talk about speed, how fast this course is, and the entire GNCC staff doing a good job to slow it down. It still keeps the speed up. It's not slow by any means, but they have tightened up, added a couple of chicanes, and tried to help keep the speeds down just a little bit for safety here at Big Buck.
Yeah, Zach, definitely want to keep. Sorry about that, a little technical difficulty, but yeah, no doubt about it. Check. There we go.
There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, absolutely. This is one of those properties that, we've been racing here since 1997. We actually recognized our property owner, Henry Turner, on the starting line today with a special award. This place has been one of the facilities that is the backbone of GNCC racing for so long. But with that comes the challenges of, the property gets kind of chewed up. We get some trails. We have to let certain areas of the property rest, which is what's cool when you have a property like this. There's so much variety in the terrain. You can really lay out completely different racetracks on the same property. So some of the stuff that we're running this year hasn't been running years. It was put together differently. Like you said, they kind of tightened up, added some chicanes in, ran down in some valleys that they haven't used in years past. And it really makes for a completely different race experience for these riders on the course, and it makes for a great viewing experience for all those of us here at the track and at home.
Now talk about it, Johnny, from a racer's perspective. It gotta breathe a little new life coming back to a place you've been multiple times, but to know there's been some significant changes, a different layout, kind of refreshing for some of these riders that have spun many laps around Big Buck.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where when you come back to a place you've raced a lot, you have that sense of familiarity, but you also have that feeling of, oh man, this place again, which is nice. Obviously, this year's schedule, 13 rounds, no repeat properties with the exception of the Hoosier and the Ironman. Obviously, it's obvious why we go there. It's a massive event. It's a huge draw for riders from that area and spectators. But every other property is a unique property that we will only use once in 2024. So it's kind of that balance of, when people love a place, you want to go there quite often and make sure that you're getting the most out of it, but you don't want to overuse a property. So, yeah, it really is. I think I sensed a little different for me now that I'm not racing anymore, and last year was the first year where I experienced that. Wow, it looked like we had I don't know if that was a hawk fly under the drone. Did you guys catch that?
I did.
That was pretty wild. It was, there was definitely a sense of new height. Where our producers have backed it up, confirmed that was a bird that was apparently maybe trying to attack our Yamaha Racing Live drone. So, Gabe, our drone pilot, you're under fire, buddy. The Hawks
defensively flying, yeah.
The Hawks are coming for you. But it seemed like there was even more hype, enthusiasm, and excitement coming into Big Buck 2024. Something about this property, the sense that is the first round. It just, man, it brings the fans out, it brings the racers out, and it brings the exciting racing like we're seeing on screen. Johnny Gerard still leading the way, wrestling that lead away from Ricky Russell pretty early in the lap somewhere, has held it ever since, but Ricky Russell not letting him go. Ricky's a rider we know that just has great bike skills. If he can get into a rhythm, we've seen him, when it's his day, man, he can really get out there and bang bars with the best of them, no question. He's won many GNCCs over the year. This is now the second season on that the new platform, YZ450, yesterday YZ450 F, and it really, they probably have their settings even better than what they had last year. He's probably more comfortable, got more time on the bike, and it's showing today. That M-Pro Yamaha looks good, and he looks comfortable on it, and these two right now open up a bit of a gap on the guys behind him.
Absolutely. Now we talk about the 2023 season, absolutely historic as far as GNCC seasons go. 8 different winners throughout the season, 7 of those coming within the first 7 rounds. How much do you think of that, the depth of this field throughout the offseason? We heard it last year. Everybody was talking about managing the bad races. This is the only opportunity all year long. They're going to be tied on points. As deep of a field as it is, how important do you think it is getting the first race win of the season?
Of course, coming out, not necessarily getting the first win, but I think, yeah, you want to strike first, but you really need to get through this round with a good, solid finish. I mean, a top 3, a podium, in my opinion, for these XC1 guys that are wanting to vie for the championship, especially based on the parity that we've seen the last couple seasons, where it's not one guy just dominating. Again, 3 new champions in 3 years, 8 race winners last year, 7 of those race winners lined up here today. You definitely want to get through, keep yourself in podium contention, and be there at the end. But sure, I mean, the first one to win, that's the first guy everybody talks about. It's kind of the first blow stricken in the battle. And right now, Johnny Gerard just absolutely looking comfortable up there, looking like he's just cruising. And, oh, look at this. You want to talk about having fun. He's just riding a wheelie, looking like he's stand-up, little trials riding. They've really got this. Oh, just as we say that. Look at his body, like his mannerisms. He just looks really comfortable, looks like he's out there just cruising, and doesn't really look flustered by the fact that he stalled the bike there, rode a little wheelie, nodded his head, took his water bottle, and took off. So Johnny looks comfortable.
Yeah, cool, calm, and collected, to say the least. And, yeah, pretty impressive wheelie there in the middle of the race as well. Caught me off guard. I tell you who probably didn't enjoy that view was Ricky Russell. How much do you think something like that might fire you up if you're chasing the back of a rider?
I don't, to be fair, I know Johnny well. I don't think that was any kind of a mind game.
Absolutely not, yeah.
That's just who Johnny is, man. Like, he's riding wheelies because wheelies are fun. You know, it's not oh, I'm going to show these guys I'm out here just playing around. But Ricky's very strong mentally. I don't think he's worried about, if anything, if he saw that, legitimately, I could see Ricky kind of chuckling in his helmet. Like, oh, Johnny, you're riding a wheelie, then you stall the bike. Like, what a goofball. A lot of these guys are friends off the track, get along well. Keeping in mind, just 2 years ago, these guys were training partners. They cycled together, rode together. So, you know, they know each other well. But yeah, it's everybody, the hype of it. Everybody's tied on points. You've got, I don't know how many riders we had in our XC1 class, but every one of them is a potential XC1 champion at this point. Everybody's tied on points, and now everybody's tied on lap lead, except for Johnny Gerard. He's got one. Everybody else is still chasing after that first lap lead.
And we got in that last drone shot, we caught a glimpse of the number 1 as well. So Craig DeLong still hanging back in that 3rd place spot. But at the moment, Ricky and Johnny just kind of yo-yoing back and forth. Ricky obviously closing the gap there with the issues coming through pit lane, but Johnny has been able to put a couple bike lanes back. We talked about this some last year as well, with it being the inaugural season for me and Jackson. One of the things that blew my mind was the pacing that these riders are able to do. 3 hours of racing, an extremely long time. These riders, it kind of blows my mind that they can run at an 80% for an hour and a half to kick off a race and then really save the energy for that final hour. Talk about how much goes into that, the mental preparations. That's what me and Jackson keep talking about. I get so excited on the starting line. All strategy goes out the window. That's probably why I'm an announcer and not a racer. But nonetheless, it just goes to show these guys have got complete control of the bike, the body, and the mind.
Absolutely, and it really does come down to preparation, exactly like you said, Zach. I mean, when you and Jackson admittedly came in here last year, you know, you guys both kind of come more from a motocross background. Yes, you've seen off-road races, but at this level, most of these guys, especially in the XC1 and XC2 classes, they've been doing this for a lifetime. So they have experience on even mini cycles, you know, moving up through the amateur ranks, getting to the Pro 2 and XC2 and moving up to XC1. And you gain a little bit of experience, you learn a little bit about yourself, and you learn a little of what it takes to be successful. You learn that through failure. You go out and, you know, so many times we talk, as a casual spectator, it's easy to say, this guy's so fast, that guy's so fast, but they never seem to win. And I'm not speaking of anyone in particular, because this goes back to the 80s. You know, there's guys that they're just so bad fast, there's no way they can get beat, but yet they consistently don't win. Part of that comes from, this is a 3-hour race, it's an endurance event, not a sprint. But the way these races shape up here lately, you need to have that sprint speed in reserve for late in the races like we talked about. We saw some of the players coming by there. If we refresh our live timing and scoring, we'll give you a rundown at least of the top 10 or so as they run. So it's Johnny Gerard leading the way, Ricky Russell, Craig DeLong in 3rd, Angus Riordan, 4th place overall on corrected time. That is the leader of that XC2 250 Pro class. Jonathan Johnson on a beta in that 2nd place spot, only 3 seconds behind Angus Riordan. So that's 5th overall from the XC2 class. Lane Michael there in 6th. Grant Davis, another XC2 rider, in 7th place in the overall, would be 3rd in the XC2 class. Then Jordan Ashburn, Toby Cleveland, another XC2 rider, Stu Baylor, Dante Oliveira, Liam Draper, Rui Barbosa, Thad Duvall, Brody Johnson round out your top 15. So of the top 15, it's virtually a half and half mix of XC1 and XC2 riders right now. And that really goes to show maybe this pace up front that looks so fast isn't, you know, as fast as it looks. Again, we saw Johnny kind of maybe mixing it up a little bit, riding a wheelie, taking his time, a lot of feet on the pegs, kind of cruising it looks like. But surprisingly, the XC1 class is still kind of strung out for as fast as the pace maybe isn't at this point.
Yeah, when we caught the first camera glimpse after the start recap, it was basically the whole XC1 row wheel to wheel, and now it seems like there's a decent amount of space for this early in the race between a lot of those riders. And then, like you said, whether it's on corrected time or actually physically on the track, the XC2 starting to jump into the mix as well.
Well, and just for a rundown, we always like to talk about, is there a chance that it could happen? It never has before. Could an XC2 rider get up there and win the overall? Right now, 1 lap in, is a 3-hour race. 12 seconds is the gap. 29 minutes, 40 seconds was lap time number 1 for Johnny Gerard, and your 4th place overall, Angus Riordan, 29 minutes, 52 seconds. So bang on 12 seconds. That's the difference in the overall. Angus Riordan needs to make up 12 if he wants to be in that lead position heading into lap number 3. That's what he needs to do on lap 2. And Johnny Gerard, any of these other guys, they need to step it up by that much to continue to pull that gap out if they want to stay ahead of that XC2 battle that's roaring behind them.
Ricky Russell seems to be able to stay in tow here, and I want to remind everybody, this is the property that he was able to get a win on last year. It wasn't for the Big Buck race, it was for the Tiger Run race, but still, nonetheless, the same property.
Yeah, and to your point, Jackson, we've talked about that a little bit already. Guys develop kind of a familiarity, a confidence with a certain property, with a certain course, and sure, that's a great point. The last time we were here, Ricky Russell was the winner. He came, he got to wear the big, Tiger jacket with so he was the Tiger King, as we always put it. It's a great honor, and it gives you just that little bit extra fire coming in saying, hey, last time we were here, it was all these same guys lined up, and I was the king. I want to be the king again.
And Johnny, we talked a lot yesterday about confidence, the confidence building, and that's what I've been hearing about Johnny Gerard. Everybody's saying he's talkative this weekend. He's smiling. He's happy. He seems like he's ready to go.
Yeah, and it's, last year at the beginning of the season, it was Johnny's rookie season in XC1. He was coming in. He had that, it was actually a previous injury. He had some hardware in his elbow. And then when that happened, it kept opening itself, or kind of blowing itself up. They had to cut him open, take the hardware out. He had stitches in, and it was an ongoing thing where anytime he would ride or irritate it, it would blow up. It was pretty nasty. I don't want to go into detail, but it was a big sack of, irritants and infection and all kinds of stuff going on. That's not the way you want to come into a season. Right now, to my knowledge, and I've seen him quite a bit, doesn't have any nagging injuries. He's been pretty well untouchable in the sprint enduros through. Shout out to Liam Draper, though. Liam Draper got him a couple times in some tests, but Johnny's won all of the days and all of the overalls so far. Racing is, I believe, his first national enduro just a week ago, and definitely gained some experience and got some seat time there, and I think he's on a roll coming in. Ricky Russell also racing a week ago, getting that kind of, it's different to practice and race. All these guys have been on the bike since the end of November probably, if not even earlier in some cases. Take a couple days off after Ironman and then right back to it, especially the guys making bike changes. And looks like we got mile marker 3. Zach, here they come.
Let's check it out here. So there it is. Johnny Gerard looking still calm, cool, and collected. Doesn't seem to be rushing anything, as does Ricky Russell. Both of these guys, by no means are they not pushing, but I think they're kind of settling a pace right now until they start to feel more pressure from behind, which would be coming from the number 1, your reigning champ of Craig DeLong. I think they're settled into a pace right now. Looks like that was one of the gasses. I couldn't quite tell who that was.
Well, it could have been Lane Michael. There's Dante Oliveira for sure.
That's Michael
Lane
right
Michael
there. There's
that
Wachowski.
Is Mike Wachowski. Could have been, looking at the way they were running, it could have been, no. Craig DeLong. The next rider as they came through was Lane Michael. Jordan Ashburn, that's who it was, Jordan Ashburn. Obviously, here we go again, overlooking our 2022 Series champion, and he's back there just solidly running in the top 5 with inside of the leaders, and he always is that way. Jordan's super consistent. He's just like the diesel engine that just keeps rolling. Looks like this is the 739 of Trevor Bollinger working his way through here at the 3-mile marker. And then just behind him is the 178 of Lyndon Snodgrass, stepping up to the XC1 class. Then it's Ryder Lafferty, also new to the XC1 class, Evan Smith, Grant Baylor, and then it is your XC2 leader of Angus Riordan, followed closely by countryman Josh Strang. Now behind that, I did see Grant Davis, and behind Strang, there was another rider there. Looking at it, could potentially have been Toby Cleveland, possibly. Here is Liam Draper. I don't know if you guys saw on the start, Liam Draper sitting there after the entire XC2 class was through the first 2 turns. Bike did not fire. They were able to get him bump started, got him going, and obviously he's made a lot of passes already up into, when they checked in scoring, 12th place overall and 5th place in class. And man, guys, the action is hot and heavy already.
Well, things are far from over as we still have over 2 hours of racing left to go. We're going to get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back for round number 1 of the 2024 Progressive GNCC Racing Series. This is the VP Racing Fuels Big Buck GNCC.
born of family values and a homegrown work ethic. Cometic Gasket seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Cometic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best inside their engine. Cometic Gaskets are always constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environments. Whether it's a championship on the line or a day in the dirt with friends, professionals and enthusiasts alike depend on Cometic. Cometic Gasket, sealing championships since 1989.
I'm seven-time GNCC champion Walker Fowler, and I run GBC.
Like a bullet into the first turn, the number one with the pink helmet and pink bars. It is Walker Fowler, the 17th.
Fist pump. You should be proud of yourself, Devin Feehan. What a ride today.
I'm Devin Feehan, and I run GBC.
I'm Josh Merritt, and I run GBC.
I'm Chris Borch,
and I run GBC.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's officially time to kick off the 2024 Progressive GNCC season, and what better way to do it than with a little Monster Energy preseason meet and greet. We're hanging out here at Magnetic South Brewery in Greenville, South Carolina. We got our top racers in all of our classes, DJ Judd spinning some tunes, and some great drinks as well. Let's check out what's going on. Man, what a time it was Thursday evening. I say it all the time. You get to the racetrack, these riders are in the zone, whatever you want to call it. The race face is on. They'll talk to you, they'll sign some autographs, but they're not really able to sit around and chit-chat. Here at the meet and greets, it's the complete opposite. There you see DJ Judd spinning the tunes, but all of your top riders. Stu Baylor was in the house. Rachel Archer, Thad Duvall, Liam Draper. There you go. You see the big blue #1 on display there at Magnetic South Brewery. But they sat there. They talked to the riders. There you see the autograph line. Chloe Harper from the ATV side of things. Corey Steed having a great ride. Toby Cleveland out on track right now in the XC2 class. But sat there for hours talking to fans, taking pictures with the kids. It was a great time to be had. And be on the lookout for more of these folks. As you can tell, Monster Energy once again kicking in and taking care of us when it comes to on-the-track action and the after party as well, unleashing their beast collection with us over at Magnetic South Brewery. But it was a great time. Tons of people from the industry, tons of racers, and tons of fun to kick off this 2024 race season. So be on the lookout. Like I say all the time, check GNCC on social media and find out when the next meet and greet is coming near you. Now checking on back screen, we are at mile 6, waiting on our leaders to come around. Like we said, last time we saw, it was the FMF Red Bull KTM rider of Johnny Gerard leading the way with Ricky Russell a couple of bike lanes back, maybe a second or so. Doesn't look like he's working too hard to try to make the pass at the moment. Kind of just pacing off of your race leader right now. Behind them, it was your reigning XC1 champ, the #1 of Craig DeLong on that Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. And Craig, once again, kind of the same mindset. Doesn't seem to be pushing too hard. He's comfortable. He's able to keep those top two in sight for the moment. And I think we're going to wait for a little later in the race before we see the #1 start to mount a charge.
Yeah, you know, Zach, that's an interesting point. I think when we saw it was just kind of right at the hill climb there, right around that area, it almost looked like Craig was putting a push in. He was basically right to the rear wheel of Ricky Russell. There is Johnny Gerard on screen, and just like that on cue, Ricky Russell in second, and pretty much on his rear wheel is Craig DeLong. But it's important to remember this. Parts of this track are very different from others, and we heard it yesterday in the podium interviews. I was better on this side, this guy was better on that side. So, maybe it's a thing where Craig's just more comfortable on one side of the track than the other. There goes Jordan Ashburn. That is your 4th place rider. And now the gap's starting to open up as we sit and we wait and we watch for 5th place in that XC1 class, which when they checked in was Lane Michael. We know he has dropped back a little bit now, and it's Dante Oliveira, the visiting West Coast rider, followed by
Michael and Wachowski.
Yep.
Lane Michael and Mike Wachowski. Just
yeah,
want to qualify.
Lane Michael. One rider that interesting, and real quick while we have this great shot from our Yamaha Racing Live drone, you want to talk about the depth of field. How about we talk about the guys that are in 15th overall, Thad Duvall, obviously running our XC2 class, Trevor Bollinger in 18th overall, Josh Strang in 19th overall, Ryder Lafferty in 20th overall. I mean, these are guys that have all been podium contenders, race winners, and are barely kind of clinging. At this point in the race, it is early. That just shows the depth of the field, because none of the guys in front of them are slouches. It's not like we've got names we don't know and new guys up in there. I mean, it is just a deep, deep, deep field of talent here today.
Absolutely, and we talk about it all the time. When I think so many people think when we're talking depth of field, we're only talking XC1, and that's not the case, folks, especially in this XC2 class. It is just as deep, if not deeper, than your XC1 class, and those guys are all not only looking to get up, spoil the overalls, but like Johnny said a little bit earlier, never having been done before, somebody wants to be the first one to claim an overall from the XC2 class.
Absolutely, and those typically, historically, the XC2 guys a little bit younger, maybe a little bit quicker starter. Zach, I know you're pretty young yourself, but as you get older, what you find out is it takes you a little bit to get warmed up in the morning. You got to kind of wiggle the ankles around before you jump out of bed. You don't wake up and set your mile times early in the morning. You wake up. Well, we're joined here. We'll soon be joined by Mikey Waynes, who is suddenly now a new fitness expert, and he wakes up, goes to the gym at 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh, he's jumping on the bike now. He's got to defend himself.
It's 5 a.m., not 4.
Oh, sorry, 5 a.m.
He's getting lazy.
But to that point, the XC2 guys kind of get warmed up quicker. When you're younger, you're kind of just ready to rip, ready to roll, ready to ramble. And as you get older, Mikey, you're starting to get not quite to my age, but you're packing on the years a little bit. You feel it in the morning.
To your point, like I went from real fast. I went from fat to fit when I was in my 20s, and then back to fat. And it was much easier at 25 than it was at 38. 38, it is much more difficult. I noticed the pounds don't come off as easy. I'm sore after a lift longer. So, yeah, to your point, Johnny, I'm not saying all the XC1 guys are getting old, but some of them are mid-30s at this point. So, yeah, no, you're right.
and it's not the entirety of the XC2 class isn't necessarily youngsters. Obviously, we've got some previous XC1 riders that have actually kind of transitioned into that XC2 class this year. There's a few of them. And both former XC2 class champions in the Red Bear Kawasaki team, Rocky Mountain Red Bear Kawasaki team, Thad Duvall, a legend in the sport, a rider that amassed many wins over the years in that XC1 and overall, back trying his hand on the smaller displacement machine. Also Josh Toth in that XC2 class as well, who was our 2017, 16, 17, somewhere in there, XC2 class champion. Many good years with that Red Bull KTM team, and is now riding for the Enduro Engineering Squad, doing something a little different this year, riding a bunch of different bikes, not focusing on one manufacturer. He's actually on a Honda CRF 250 this weekend, and Thad Duvall obviously out there on that Kawasaki KX250F with great backing from a lot of sponsors. And I think it'll be interesting to see how these guys do transitioning back into that XC2 class. Look at all the spectators, man. They're down, they're watching the hill. They want to see these guys climb up that rock face. And Johnny Gerard loves to put on a show, so I wouldn't be surprised. You missed it, Mikey, but he was doing a wheelie for us down Pro Row, got all excited, stalled the bike, just kind of shook his head. Didn't look like he was too bothered by it. There's our second and third place riders. Stu Baylor on the hunt. He's up to 4th and putting pressure on. He has displaced Jordan Ashburn, and he looks like he's putting pretty heavy pressure on the defending champion, Craig DeLong, there, wanting to wrestle away that number 3 spot.
I noticed, talking to Stu prior to the race for that Monster Energy pre-race report, he was talking about not necessarily single track, but this isn't as the wide open track we've seen in years past. There were some safety concerns over that. Guys were flying through here the last few years, and we did have some big injuries, Johnny. But Stu said how important the start was because of there not being that many places to make a pass. So he's starting to chip away at it now, but those opportunities, I think, fewer and further between.
And one of the riders, or the 3 riders checking through there right there, at the 356 of Dante Oliveira, visiting multi-time Works and West Coast Series champion. This year, I believe, contesting the AMA Hare Scrambles West and the National Hare and Hound Series for that factory KTM. Worth noting, the opportunity he has to be here is filling the seat of the vacated position there on that team by Ben Kelly, who's probably at home watching, maybe not watching. Couldn't blame him if he isn't.
Right.
Our former series champion and right in the series championship hunt until the final rounds of 2023. Unfortunately, sitting out the opening 9 rounds, I believe, is the plan of the series this year after a recent surgery undergone to fix an ongoing issue he had with his hip. And also, he recently said on social media, there's more to it than that, actually had some hardware taken out of his leg as a result of that big, bad, nasty crash that took him out of the 2022 series after winning the opening 6 rounds. So getting back, his words, getting back to healthy, opens up an opportunity for a guy who's a world-class athlete like Dante Oliveira, was a part of leading Team USA to victory last year in the ISDE 6 days National Enduro over in Argentina. And he was excited. He's been here about a week and a half now, 2 weeks, and he's excited for the opportunity. He said, man, the trees don't move, but I'll be honest, he's putting in a really good showing so far here today and excited to see how he can do. And he was chased closely by Lane Michael, and also just behind Lane Michael there. Actually, now I forget who it was, but I think it was Lyndon Snodgrass was right back there as well. So those guys all still in the mix and up that big hill, and we're seeing from the Yamaha Racing live drone, Johnny Gerard still out front leading the way, but look for the big green Kawasaki of Stu Baylor starting to look in the background, putting pressure on DeLong, who in turn put pressure on our second place rider, and it's really starting to put a pressure towards the front. And I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see these gaps between Ricky Russell in second, Johnny Gerard start to tighten up from the pressure coming from behind.
Going to be interesting, especially when they start getting into that lap traffic. We saw that. I heard you guys, Jackson and Zach, talking this morning how much of an issue it was, which it's always a big thing for the AM race for our women's pro class, but just seems a little more substantial this weekend. But Johnny Gerard, I mean, just scooting right now. And Johnny, do you think there's some added pressure on Johnny Gerard's shoulders this year, kind of being like, okay, Ben is out for a large portion of the season. Johnny, you're our guy. Now, we brought in Dante. I understand that. But Johnny Gerard, I got to think maybe a little added pressure.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think so.
No?
I don't think Johnny Gerard thinks that way. Johnny Gerard is a dirt bike racer.
And he just smiles and laughs.
And he's a dirt bike racer.
Yeah.
Like, he is a good dude, but I don't think there's a lot of overthinking that goes on with him. I think you could sit and have a strategy conversation with him, and he would smile, he would listen to everything that you're saying, and when he goes out, he's going to ride his dirt bike the way he's going to ride his dirt bike. And to his credit, man, it works. And when it works, it's almost untouchable. But I think part of that is the experience, like we talked about before. You weren't in the booth, but knowing when to pace yourself. But, you know, he's got this guy that knows a little bit about winning. That's kind of in his ear. Correct. Not literally. We don't allow two-way communication here, but he's on the pit board, and he's on it. He probably had him in the camper last night and said, hey, man, speed's there. You look good. I mean, this guy is absolutely hauling the mail in the offseason.
Have fun on your dirt bike.
Go and do not try to win this thing early. Do not try to open up a gap. Just ride your dirt bike. Once we fuel you for the first time, we'll kind of check in, see where things are at. We'll regain a strategy from there. But you do not need to run away from these guys. You just need to ride your dirt bike. Speed, not at all in question for this man right here. It really is just the experience and the maturity of putting 3 hours together that we're going to see if he can do it today.
He's doing it right now, and speaking of that lap traffic, looks like he's getting into a little bit of it right there. We'll see more of that later for sure. But looking smooth, and to your point, Johnny, that 514 going to be charging at him. You know at some point Stu's going to make a push. Let's flip that. Let's talk Stu for a second. You know, Stu in the past, it goes for broke, like every single second of a race. Do you see maybe Stu changing it up a bit in years past where it's like, I got to go get a win? Maybe he checks up and says, okay, a 2 today is good. Let me stay here.
I actually think we've already seen that from Stu. I think he's matured a ton in the last couple of years to be able to take what the race will give him. I don't think we see Stu crashing himself out or really forcing the pace and hurting himself, not physically hurting himself, but setting himself back. I think he's I mean, if you want to talk race IQ, I don't know that there's anybody on the track that has the race IQ of Stu Baylor. I mean, he just has more seat time, more races, more wins, more losses, you know, more green flag drops and more checkered flag seen than probably anyone else in this. I mean, you've got guys like Thad Duvall and Josh Strang as well, former champion. We're not taking anything away from those guys, but Stu is a student of this game, and he absolutely knows what's going on. I don't think he gets flustered by what happens around him. Very, 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 very strong mentally. And I think we actually did get an opportunity to speak with Stu Baylor before the event got started this weekend to kind of get his thoughts. Obviously, new bike, new team, a lot of things going on. And this is a guy that he's a fan of the sport as well as one of the biggest names in it. And he just knows so many things about what's going on out there. I don't think you can get in this man's head.
Realistically, the last few years have been do or die, and it's been a mishap or two away, basically, for the last 3 or 4 years on a championship. So at this point, it's just mainly making sure that we finish the races, and I think that's going to be the biggest part for me. Like, I think everybody's seen it. Like, I've had the speed, I just haven't had the program. So I'm hoping that this year we built the right program. It's one of those tracks, like, they're the view lines that are out there, like, they're not any faster. So it's one of those where you're going to have to send it life or death, like, let's make this move. And yeah, it's I can see, like, for the quad side, yeah, they slowed it down for us. We still straighten a lot of stuff up that they can't, so it'll still be a fast track. Big Buck's always fast. Now there's just less options to get over and find a smooth line. So I think you'll see a lot of yo-yo. We're seeing it in the morning race right now. When we catch the lappers, it's going to be tough to even pass lappers out there, which is going to snug the race up there at the end of lap 2, early lap 3, if there is any gaps that start to form. And obviously, it's GNCC. Towards the end of the race, we're going to see those gaps open back up, but not by much here, I would say. The track is so one line that everybody's going to be riding really well, and you know, everybody wants to lead this race knowing that they've got the momentum.
And guys, I think Stu Baylor hit the nail on the head at the beginning of that interview. His bad days have got to get a little bit better. Stu has 18 wins here and still not able to get that championship, where your defending champion only has 3 wins to his name in this XC1 class.
Yeah, and another thing, you know, we talked about it earlier, Jackson, you know, the familiarity. You mentioned Ricky Russell, the last rider to ride here, or win here. A little bit extra confidence maybe coming into today. Stu Baylor won his first ever GNCC here in 2017. So, you know, this place holds a little bit of special juju in his mind. And he lives just a stone's throw from here. This is by far his closest property. You know, there's been several in South Carolina. In terms of GNCC, there's a National Enduro, I think, that's a little bit closer to his house. But for GNCCs, this is home for him. So, you know, and he's been racing here since he was on 65s, you know, maybe 50s. So, you know, he knows this place, he knows this property. And, man, I mean, Stu's a guy, you can never bet against him. Like, if you come into a race and Stu Baylor is healthy and he is on a dirt bike that has fuel in it, there's a good chance he can vie for a win. Right now, the guy doing all the vying and all the winning, at least each lap led so far, the 969 of Johnny Gerard, again, just looking really composed today. I think this is maybe the next evolution of Johnny Gerard. Second place, Ricky Russell on screen, 212 Ampro Yamaha, and was the #1 of Craig DeLong, and it is now the 514 of Stu Baylor, followed by the #1 of Craig DeLong.
Craig right there on his heels.
There is Jordan Ashburn there on the number 3 machine?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, okay. I was pretty certain it was.
Yeah, look at Gerard.
What a shot we have here with this drone this weekend.
Really just gets to show you, I mean, how much flow these guys carry through even the tightest sections of this course. I mean, it doesn't do it justice unless you have the opportunity to go out there and actually walk some of how tight this is. And they're able to just go ahead and keep the flow going no matter how tight and twisty it gets.
There you look at the Big Buck history. Stu Baylor, Ben Kelly, Grant Baylor. Oh, that sounds familiar. That was also Grant's, air quotes, first win. He had the one at Pinton, the year or two before, but even if you ask Grant, he's like, this was the first one straight up. And then you go to Caleb Russell back in the day. We were rained out in 19. Caleb Russell prior. And Stu Baylor, his first win. That one always stands out to me because that was my first GNCC call in racing. And I'm like, this Stu Baylor, man, he's like the hometown guy. This is big for him. So I'll never forget that interview, too. Has it sunk in yet? How does it feel? And he's like, Mikey, you have no idea. Yeah. And I don't know if he knew what was coming next for him. 18 wins later, here he is, and still trying to fight for a championship as our riders come in here with 2 laps completed.
Look at Jordan Ashburn. Jordan Ashburn turning up the heat, starting to get to the rear wheel of Craig DeLong. DeLong sitting in that number 4 spot, and Ashburn, again, your 2022 champion, saying, hey guys, a lot of off-season talk, a lot of off-season chatter. This guy out front, he's kind of a new guy. He wants to throw his hat in the ring, but behind him are 3 guys that have been very much in the thick of this championship hunt through the last couple of years. Sitting right behind him, obviously Ricky Russell has been in it. 4 guys. Stu Baylor, and then Craig DeLong and Jordan Ashburn. But I can't say enough about this guy right now. It's just looking smooth, looking like he's on rails, looking like he's got it all figured out.
Yeah, it is absolutely stellar. To your point on Jordan Ashburn, he was one, Johnny, we talked in the pre-show about, after Caleb Russell, 3 championships, 3 different winners, who's going to be that guy that can step up and say, hey, I want to be a 2-time winner? Well, Ben Kelly, not necessarily possible for him this year, which he will be back, we hope. But then you've got DeLong and you've got Ashburn. And I feel like it's almost reminiscent of Ashburn's season where we weren't talking a whole lot about him, and he took it personal. I still remember the Racer X article where they were quoting Wygant and me and Rodney, and none of us picked Ashburn as a contender, and he went out and won it that year. So maybe not mentioning Jordan Ashburn is exactly what he needs. Maybe that's the fire we see in him right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jordan's such a quiet guy, it would be easy for him to shrug it off and say, well, I'm just here to ride my dirt bike. But he 100% took that personally in 2022, as he should.
Yeah.
He used it as fuel. He didn't come out and make a bunch of social media posts.
Sure.
He didn't name call people. He didn't, play the victim.
I did apologize to him at the end of the year.
no one did it maliciously.
No,
it's just he's such a quiet guy that flies under the radar. It's easy to overlook him, but it's hard to overlook somebody with the results pedigree that he's had over the past however many seasons. This is a guy that's always in the top 3. But you're talking about these guys that win a race, and that was the other big thing. Coming into 2022, Jordan Ashburn had never won a GNCC. So it's hard, again, not justifying it, but it is hard to talk about a guy as a championship contender when he's never won a race. And he proved, realistically, he could have won that championship in 2022 without winning a race. He ultimately did go on to win races and put himself in the mix, winning another race again last year. And obviously now we know he's absolutely a bona fide championship contender. But it's just one of those things, Mr. Consistency. He was always on the podium, never the first guy across the checkered flag. And it just kind of changes the dialogue when suddenly you're winning races and coming to the line, but he still just does it so under the radar that he's not the first name you think of when you're like, GNCC, who's going to win? But he's always right there.
Yeah, no, he is. He's always there. Yeah, good point. Talking about the 3 overall wins and 2 championships. Well, Craig's got 3, and he's got 1 national title. Ashburn's got 3, 1 national title. So, yeah, I put Stu on the spot a little bit in that interview in the pre-race report of, like, is it all in? And he goes, well, it's kind of been all in the last few seasons. It's just not kind of worked out that way for me. But, nonetheless, I feel like this is the all or nothing season for him.
And there's an interesting point with that there, too, with the 3 wins, 1 championship. These guys are 2 guys that, knock on wood, we don't have any wood here, they never take themselves out of races or seasons. They're always there. They don't get injured. They don't break their machines. They're just there. They're consistent. They're scoring points every time they come to the track. And that makes a big difference. I mean, you got to win a few races to make up for a DNF. You got to win a handful of races. There's a 5-point bonus for winning a race over second place. It's a 30-point total. So if you get 0 points, you got to win 6 to come back to what you technically gave up. You gave up 30 points. You got to have 6 wins in a row to make that back. So it's, seconds and thirds add up in championship hunts, no question about it.
Absolutely. Waiting on our leaders here at the 3-mile marker, the Monster Energy Monster Mountain. We saw the lappers they're going to be getting into.
Mikey, as we take a look here, run down our top 10 as they've checked in with now 2 laps complete. Dante Oliveira jumped up into 6th place in that XC1 class, but look at this. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th in the overall, currently all XC2 riders. So your top 4, Johnny Gerard, Ricky Russell, Stu Baylor, and Craig DeLong, top 5, and Jordan Ashburn, all out of that XC1 class. Then it's Angus Riordan, Grant Davis, Liam Draper, Toby Cleveland, Jonathan Johnson, all coming out of the XC2 Pro 250 class, rounding out the top 10 overall. Dante Oliveira 6th in XC1, all the way back to 11th in that overall. Again, early in this one, 2 laps complete, just an hour. We're right at a third of the way into this thing, Jackson. But it's interesting to note, we got pretty much a half and half mix of XC1 and XC2 in the top 10 right now. So we don't see that very often, especially this early in the season with all the contenders and all the players healthy.
And that just shows how hard the XC2 is going here this season.
Yeah, they're pushing hard. Angus Riordan leading the way both laps. Grant Davis moved up quite a few spots to get to that number 2 spot and is only 4 seconds behind, but 0.9 seconds behind him, your defending champion, Liam Draper on that Ampro Yamaha, coming like a freight train after that. We're not even going to say dead last start. We're going to say spotted the field 2 full corners. It wasn't a minute, but it sure seemed like it. It was to the point where we had already seen who won the XC2 hole shot, turned around, the other straightaway, and Liam Draper still sitting there on that finish starting line. Couldn't get that machine to fire. The crew giving him a bump. He got rolling, put his head down, 2 laps of racing in, and he's within, what would it be, 5.5 seconds of the lead with Angus Riordan. On screen, Johnny Gerard leading the way. He's absolutely just putting in a clinic here so far today. A little sideways on those routes, but you're going to have that. It's not going to be a smooth ride for 3 hours, that's for sure. We're joined in the booth here by Justin Jennings, our Scott representative for Scott Goggles, our rider out front there. Johnny Gerard being a Scott guy. And, you know, Justin, what are you seeing out there today? And thanks for joining us here in the booth.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's crazy to see how good the conditions are, right? It's been pretty sunny since Thursday, and I thought it was going to be dusty, and it looks incredible. And it's cool to see Johnny and Ricky out front, both Scott guys, so we love to see that. But it's been just round one. Anticipation's been high, nerves are high, and then here we are racing, and man, we couldn't ask for a better start.
Well, we know not only are you obviously here working, but you're a huge fan of the sport.
Yeah.
You know, you travel or have traveled in the past with Jordan Ashburn's mechanic. Kind of new to the GNCC thing, but now this being your kind of second year of being here quite a bit, you know, what's the hype like for you coming in, you know, as a super fan of the sport, coming in, looking at all these guys, knowing they can get out there, mix it up, potentially throw their hat in the ring for a win. How excited do you get coming into round one?
I mean, honestly, it's crazy, right? When I first started doing this, I was like, man, like, who are these guys? I had to reach out to my buddy Austin and be like, hey, like, who's this? Who's that? You know, because Supercross, motocross, that's what we grow up on. So GNCC is kind of like that unforgiven. Not really say unforgiven, but it's just we don't pay a lot of attention to it. And now that I'm in it and doing it, it's like, man, this racing it's crazy. I think we had, 8 different winners last year or something like that, and it's just insane how good these guys are. And I was talking, I believe, with Mikey or somebody yesterday, and some of these guys are getting into their late 20s, early 30s, and they're so competitive. So it's cool to see like this coming into its realm and being such a popular demand for anybody, right? Like anybody can ride it. How many rows we have today? 17 or something?
Well, we do know just shy of 2,000 racers here this weekend.
Yeah,
over the
it's
course
incredible.
Of the 2 days. Absolutely just a ton of people here, and we see a ton of riders actually battling on screen. Our leaders here, and that is our XC2 class leaders coming through. Man, just wheel to wheel, a lot of battles going on out there, but so many exciting things. We're here 3 miles in to lap number 3, just past the 1/3 mark of the race so far, and we're going to head out, get a word from some of our sponsors, bring back with bar-to-bar racing action. Johnny Gerard leading the way. Can he hang on? Or one of the riders behind him track him down? And a lot of guys in the mix here today. We'll throw it to commercial, and we'll be back here soon on Racer TV.
Thank you, guys.
It takes commitment, passion, and endurance to make something great. Made by champions, for champions.
How would you like to go to a school where we take into consideration how students learn best? Well, we do that because we find if we can build the curriculum around the things you are interested in, you're going to do a better job. The mission at On Track School is that educational success is possible while chasing your dreams. Not only will our staff help students to achieve success, they will cheer you on to the finish line. We encourage you to check out On Track School at ontrackschool.com, where we can help you chase your dreams and still get a quality education.
OnTrackSchool.com. Check it out.
30 minutes and 2 laps. Let's go racing. Full contact. Look at that lead. Down to the inside.
Jet Lord still on top. Oh, the podium's here. I don't think any atmosphere can match it. Nothing quite like pro motocross.
We've been there since the very beginning.
20 laps, the main event, the blood, the beer.
Organizing the industry and building champions. "100 years of defending your rights to ride into the future."
All right, hey everybody, I am down here at The Hill. There's pretty much no other way to put it. This is The Hill if you come to Big Bug. As you can see behind me, rock faces, roots, riders are facing everything, and they're going up at a high rate of speed. 3 main lines have developed as far as on the hill face. You've got the riders far left, that's what's right next to me. Now they're able to carry a high amount of speed coming out of this corner, but man, does it have a kicker about halfway up the rock face. The center line about half and half. You get a good drive out of the corner, but still a rough face up here on the hillside. And then the far right, haven't seen many of your riders, top or bottom of the field, choose to go far right. But just in about the last 2 minutes, I have seen 3 different riders get thrown completely over the front of the motorcycle here taking this far left line. So we'll wait to see exactly what your leaders choose. As we've said all weekend long, line development and line choice going to be absolutely crucial out here at Big Bug. Back to you guys in the trailer.
We talked a little bit about this yesterday, Johnny, the rocks that have kind of surfaced on that hill and also fallen to the bottom of that hill that weren't in that shot. It's developing to be a pretty gnarly hill.
Yeah, no question. I mean, that hill has changed so much since we first started running it years ago, just because the more you go up it, the more tires run over it, spit rocks down to the bottom. It just changes the configuration and the shape of it every time. And we're fortunate this year, pretty dry, but when it gets slick, when you can drag some moisture on it, sometimes there's water in that creek at the bottom, and when that happens, it drags that water up on there. That rock face gets super slick, and it's even harder to navigate for sure. It's, man, it's an exciting part. The spectators love to see it. When we see the XC1, XC2, our top riders go up, and it looks super easy, but those spectators, make no mistake, they're there for the later on classes that we don't see going up the hill, because it gets a little more exciting. We get to see their buddy Loop Out Larry might come up there.
Larry, yeah.
Might get to see a trip to Indonesia. You know, you just never know.
They want that clip for TikTok. Wish you wouldn't, but that's okay. It's part of it. Watching our Yamaha live drone here, Johnny Gerard, last we saw, still doing his thing out in front.
Leading the way. We did have a rider number 81 more leading the overall. We think that was a little bit of a mistake with the scoring that does happen from time to time. Somebody gets double entered in scoring or something like that. They get a lap ahead, but they fixed it. Here is your running order as they run. Johnny Gerard out front, Ricky Russell in second, Stu Baylor Jr. in third, Craig DeLong in fourth, Jordan Ashburn fifth, and here comes the XC2 boys. Not on screen. We're talking about in the results. Angus Riordan, Grant Davis, Liam Draper, Toby Cleveland, Jonathan Johnson, rounding out your top 10 overall. So again, revisiting that, a 50-50 mix of XC1 and XC2. That bike was flying. That could have been a leader. Maybe not. Might have just been the angle of the camera. But that is definitely the 969 of Johnny Gerard on screen. But it looks like he has pressure behind him. Looks like it might be Ricky Russell.
I was going to say, I thought I saw Russell come through in that pack of lapped riders as well, yeah. So did Russell get around him?
Well, we're looking at it
Johnny?
On screen.
Or Johnny's that far ahead? Okay.
So that's Johnny there, if there's nobody ahead of him. But he's got some pressure behind him, which we did not see before.
What's the times look like? This for me, Johnny, was a big confusing thing that I had to learn, and I'm still learning, is how they put it on screen. Because it's like, for me, it's like, oh, like Grant Davis is 7th, and it's like, well, he's XC2, right? So for me, it's new to the sport and learning all the different classes, like Pro Lights and 250 Pro, Open Pro, and so that's been for me, learning that. It's been really fun to see like all the different guys we have in each category. But I'm like I said, I'm new and I'm learning, and it's been a lot of fun to check these out, and I'm excited to go to Tennessee this year.
Yeah, that's a hometown race for you and a new property for us here. You've got Johnny Gerard still out front, and actually nobody behind him there, so that must have been a lapped rider. He was getting around, still having a pretty comfortable gap. And yeah, interesting point for the casual viewer at home that hasn't been to a GNCC. At the bottom there where it says overall unofficial, that is out of all the riders on the course, not just your pro riders. You can actually go follow the live results on GNCCRacing.com. You can see the overall all the way back through 400th place on the track as they run. It'll show you their elapsed time. The software automatically corrects the time. We don't have to do any math here. We're not doing any figuring. It automatically, as they check in with their transponder, figures out what their elapsed time is and then slots them into their position within the overall. And multiple times when we have time, we'll do a rundown of the top 10 of our classes and show the individual classes and what place those guys and gals are running in those classes. And it's cool because we've talked about it so many times. I don't want to say the average Joe, but an amateur racer who's here, in a pickup truck racing. They're just getting started, or they're maybe later on in their career racing an age class. They're out there mixing it up bar to bar at the same time that Johnny Gerard, Ricky Russell, Stu Baylor, Craig DeLong, all of our champions and our top factory riders are out there racing, and they're part of the race in a way. It's one of those things you have to navigate. There we see some lapped riders. Those guys are battling, man. They're not just out there for a trail ride. They're out there mixing it up, trying to get their bragging rights when they head home to say, hey, man, I was top 5 in my class or top 10 in my class, or I finished a GNCC. For a lot of people, that's a big thing there in and of itself. It's no easy task. These courses are tough, and they're long races. You can see now they're thick into the lappers there.
And it just speaks to the talent difference between an XC1 guy, and those aren't C riders he's passing. These are A and B guys that Johnny Gerard is getting around. So it's not like they're, the first year D class at your Carney Cross. Like, these guys are skilled as well, but
not that there's anything wrong with
no,
definitely
we all start
Carney
somewhere.
Cross. Yeah. But yeah, like these riders, that it's very possible that these riders getting lapped right now are top riders in their local series, wherever they may be from. They might finish in the top 5, top 10, even top 3 overall in their local series, and here they are, an hour and 15 minutes already going one lap down. It just shows the level of ability, talent, and dedication that the top riders have, and it gives these other riders, whether it be youth riders, amateur riders, something to aspire to. Shows you what is possible when you dedicate yourself and surround yourself with good people.
Yeah, totally. And the big thing for me too, that was a big learning factor is, it's like they're going through the trees, like it's like, yeah, they're cruising, but when you actually watch these guys ride, it's incredible.
Hey guys, we are down here back at the hill. Your leader, Johnny Gerard, just came by. Let me show you exactly what the riders are dealing with. This is the size of one of the rocks that has come barreling down the hill. That is well over the size of a softball. Behind us, the battle is on. Here comes Stu Baylor. He's made the pass for second place. Ricky Russell hot on his heels. They funnel into the same line up the hill. Here comes Jordan Ashburn with Craig DeLong all over the back of him. 2 different lines for 2 reigning champions here in the XC1. Look at how easy they make it look compared to the rest of the field. We drop back to see who's next on the leader list coming up to the hill. Those riders absolutely effortlessly floating up and over the rocks. They're all choosing this closest line to me. So we've got a group of lap riders barreled up behind us, getting ready to wait and attempt the hill. They're trying to stay out of the way, as it looks like one of the next lead riders may be headed down the hill right now. Here we go. Another rider going to make his attempt. He gets shot off to the side. We're still waiting to see who our next XC1 rider is. Oh, one rider. A big end over end. Fireworks going on down here at the hill. We're going to send it back up to you guys while we wait for our next leaders to come through.
Well, there we go. We had that awesome Yamaha Racing Live drone showing us that actually some battles developing. We saw it come by here at the hill, and Zach Heron doing an excellent job of calling that action. Big shakeups, 2 changes within the top 5. Stu Baylor able to work his way around Ricky Russell, is trying to set off in pursuit of the race leader, the 969 of Johnny Gerard. And look at this. There is Stu Baylor on screen. Look at the gap he's opened up on Ricky Russell just in those couple sections. Stu Baylor at the 514. Rocky Mountain, Red Bear Racing, Monster Energy, Kawasaki rider is absolutely on rails, and he's trying to track down the 969 factory FMF Red Bull KTM of Johnny Gerard. Looking like he's got the pace to maybe start making some inroads and knock down that time gap just a little bit. Again, you can see costly time there with those lapped riders. So that looked to be Johnny Gerard going up there at the power point, and we're looking back, waiting to see here comes Stu Baylor on screen.
Gesture.
Yeah, a little gesture there. I don't think that was a friendly one. I think he was letting him know I would like you to get out of my way a little sooner. Ricky Russell now basically back to the rear wheel. So that goes to show how quickly lapped riders and line choices can change things, and how quickly, again, the running order changes. Craig DeLong was the one putting the pressure on Ricky Russell. Now he's actually dropped back and lost a position to Jordan Ashburn. So Jordan Ashburn and Stu Baylor, the riders on the move within that top 5, and being pushed back a position, both Ricky Russell and Craig DeLong.
I got to think it's very important pacing yourself today because of that yo-yo effect. Because as we just saw with Stu, he gets into the lap traffic, he gets around and does fine. Now he puts a gap in between him and Russell, and it doesn't take 5 seconds, and then Russell's right back because of the lap traffic.
And it really is the way the track shapes up, too. There are sections where, every 5 to 10 feet, there's an opportunity for those lapped riders to get out of the way. And then there's sections where when you get into single track, they might actually cost you time by trying to stop and get out of your way. And that's something the more experienced lap riders that have been doing this longer understand. Sometimes your best bet, and as it's also your responsibility as a rider doing the lapping, you don't want to fluster the rider in front of you if there's nowhere for them to go. You want to just kind of give them a quick little rev or a, hey, let them know you're there. Give them the opportunity to kind of just run their pace. You don't want to fluster them into crashing in a tight section, because that happens. Now you're not losing 3 to 5 seconds. You're losing 30 to 50 seconds while they pick up their bike. You try to navigate through the trees. Not common on bikes as much as it is on ATVs, but there's definitely single track sections where that does happen, and you physically cannot get off the trail and get through. You have to just take your time, wait behind them, and let it all.
There's a good example.
Rock over in the booth with us here and pointing out some of the lapped riders hear the rev limiter coming, and they know the freight train's coming. They just want to get out of the way. They want to let the race go by so they can resume their own race and start tracking down the guy in front of them in their class.
Yeah, I mean, we're only an hour and 20 into this race, so there's a lot of time left, and there's a lot of battles brewing. So it could be interesting to see how this all shapes up. And, these XC1 guys are right there, too. They're going to be getting into lap traffic. And it's going to be interesting to see, how, for Stu, yesterday we saw at that meet and greet party we had on Thursday, he looked really thin. Like I said, I'm still new, but it looked like he's in one of the best shape for 2024. And, you guys can maybe know better than me, but he looks like he's in race shape.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly going to become a factor later in the race. I think all these guys have been doing their homework, but you don't know what your 3-hour race shape is until you run 3-hour races. None of these guys, at least to my knowledge, none of them are going out there and doing 3-hour simulation races. They're riding their structured riding. Sure, they're doing some longer motos and some longer, loops, and the guys that are racing the sprints, they're getting a lot of seat time. The guys that are racing the enduros, that's a long day on the bike, but it's a completely different intensity level. There's a lot of transfer time. There's a lot of sitting and waiting kind of time with, it's a different format, but what used to be called resets now are just in between tests. So it is different. But Stu Baylor, definitely we know is a guy. One thing you can say about Stu Baylor, I haven't personally seen Stu believe you 100% that he's in shape, but even if he's not, he will not cheat you for effort. No. He will go so deep late in one of these races, his eyes will roll back in his head. It's like there's no quit in this guy. He used to, when he was younger, he had the nickname All Heart because he wanted it. He grew up. This was his life. He wanted to be a dirt bike racer. He wanted to be a dirt bike champion. He has been an XC2 champion. He has been a national enduro champion. He's won a lot of races and a lot of championships. Kind of, dare I say, the last thing or one of the last. He's been an ISDE champion, huge, as part of a team, the team champions. One of the last things on his to-do list for his career has to be GNCC championship, and I don't think he's shy about that. We're looking to see if he may have actually closed up. Oh, so Ricky's still there in the number 3 spot, and he's able. And I think he's being aided by the lapped riders, but Ricky riding very well as well. There was a little buzz I heard. I did not confirm with Ricky that he may have had a shoulder injury.
Oh, I didn't. We weren't able to catch him.
Yeah, in recent weeks. Again, it's rumors, man. The rumor mill runs rampant.
Oh yes. Yeah.
These guys, they're professional athletes, but they're also schoolgirls. They gossip like you wouldn't believe. You hear somebody had a crash, and you immediately. I will say respectful. Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt, but you don't mind seeing your competition maybe get a little bruised up, knowing they got a sore shoulder, maybe a broken toe, something like that.
Blood in the water. Yeah, I mean, they are sharks.
Yeah, sharks, man. They see an opportunity, and they'll use that as fuel and motivation late in a race to say, hey, this guy may not be at 100%, and Ricky Russell, if he is at 100% or not, right now he's sure riding like he is, and no spring chicken himself, but the 34 years, that's also experience. This guy, I can speak personally to this. Popped up out of nowhere in 2013 and just kind of, who is this guy? Where did he come from? He came in a van from Washington and showed up at, ironically, not riding a Yamaha, was riding a KTM, somehow knew someone who knew someone, showed up at Randy Hawkins' Ampro facility and was kind of camped in the yard in his van, and Randy said, hey, come on here, you can ride with my guys. Blew up both of his bikes before the season started, and Paul Whibley, former champion, said, hey, man, I got this clapped out 450 practice bike.
Give it a
You don't
shot,
have any
buddy.
money, take it and race it. You've come all the way across the country. Pay me when you can. That's what started Ricky Russell's GNCC racing career
I did
back
not know
in
that.
2013 on
Very
Paul
cool.
Whibley's literally clapped out practice bike. We helped him pit the very first race back in 2013, and he came off the track, no skin left on his hands, but a smile on his face. And he said, I think I like this GNCC racing thing.
Boy.
I think I can do this. And now having won, many races, both in XC1 and XC2, and battling right here inside the top 3, putting pressure on one of the guys that absolutely has to be the favorite. Not that Ricky himself isn't, but Stu Baylor, man, hometown boy. Everybody's cheering for him, and Ricky Russell's like, this guy's going to the front. I'm latching on.
Yes, he is. They call him rough and rowdy for a reason. Matter of fact, his first career win, correct me if I'm wrong, Johnny, I think Snowshoe, which is our nastiest, arguably our nastiest round. So, yeah, Ricky well-equipped to get up there and compete with Stu Baylor. And right now he's got the tow rope out and just latched on, will not let him out of his sight.
A little perspective there. Stu Baylor gapped Ricky Russell when he passed him at first, and then Ricky Russell got that second chance. Stu got held up a little bit by those lappers. A guy like Ricky knows better than to let that second chance be wasted. He's going to throw caution to the wind and say, look, Stu's on a charge. Whether it be a mistake or just didn't quite have the intensity, I let him get away from me once. But this guy's going to the front. If I can latch on, I'm going to give it everything I got to stay with him. Obviously, indefinitely is the goal, and get back around him. But if not, for as long as I can, because he's got good lines, he's got a good flow, and he can absolutely pull me to the front. Still don't see the 969 of Johnny Gerard in these shots, but we know it's, look at that. Ricky's got some really good lines back there, and that's another advantage. When you're behind, you can see where Stu's going, and you can, if you keep your presence of mind, you can say, well, so Johnny Gerard already at the end of GBC Power Sports Tires pit stop area. A little fuel splash there, and now we see Stu Baylor just now coming down to the end of.
They should be entering pit road too.
Yeah, they should be coming in here. So Johnny's definitely opened up that gap. I think Stu may be in his pits.
Stu's there.
Yep, there he is. And
Ricky's
Ricky as well. Calm, collected. Lucas Statham putting the fuel in there. A cap back on. Little hydration hanging. And did he get out? There is Craig DeLong. There is Stu. He was kind of frozen. So Stu, the big loser in that one, loses two spots.
Yep.
Craig DeLong able to work his way up to third. Stu drops back to fourth, coming in second. So maybe a little chat with the pit crew after this one. It's fine. These guys will make passes. But it is frustrating sometimes. And it could be a thing. Maybe he wanted something they didn't have ready. Maybe he himself wanted to communicate some things. Can't blame it on the pit crew. Didn't see the pit stop. But if you come in nose to tail with somebody and they leave and they're gone and you can't see them and your pit crew's still trying to put fuel in, that can really fire you up. Not very clearly to the Rocky Mountain ATV, Red Bear, Kawasaki team. Not saying that is the case, but when it happens, it is frustrating. But
leopard right
there. Look at that.
He said,
excuse me, sir.
Excuse me. Speaking from the guy that used to be down in the pits with these guys, when a pit goes a millisecond wrong, you hear about it. You hear about it instantly, and we'd have to be on HBO to share that documentation. But nonetheless, it is a very, it's nerve-wracking down there for the mechanics, for the rider, everybody.
I will share a little perspective while we wait and watch here. We believe it will be the number 212 still is Ricky Russell on screen. That is now your number 2 rider, having gotten around Stu Baylor in the pits. You can see the close calls and how they happen. Craig DeLong there, defending series champion with the big, heavy number 1 plate there in third. Stu Baylor fourth. And fifth place, Jordan Ashburn. Don't see him in this shot yet, but we do believe he is back there lurking still. There he is, making a pass, coming in there to scoring. Legal pass. It was before the chicane, before the tent itself. There he is in fifth. This is your top 5. Second, third, fourth, all in the same shot from our Yamaha Racing Live drone. The battle rages on.
Patience at work right here. As close as they are, the yo-yo effect, the lap traffic, the tight course, setting up for a good recipe for a good race. And You know, to your point, I heard the guys, everybody I talked to this morning was talking about how important the starts were. I think those pits you throw right in there with it, because as close as they're pitting together, and like what we just saw, Stu Baylor lost 2 positions in the pits. It's just that easy.
Mikey, I have an observation. When's the last time we saw this many lappers?
Oh.
Well, a little dust, but yeah, this
a
is
big
the
buck,
most,
right?
Yeah. When is the last time we saw this many lappers in an afternoon bike race in this kind of frequency? Like, these guys are getting into lappers thick. They're not hitting today. 1 or 2. You know, in that last shot, there's, I think, 6, 7, 8 lappers between Johnny Gerard and our second-place rider of Ricky Russell in only a gap of 25 seconds. That's a lot. And here's more. 2 in the same shot. Like, these guys are in
thick
the 15 freeway in Southern California traffic right now. And, yeah, man, look at this. There's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 riders. Now I'm counting between 7, 8 lapped riders between in a 25-second span. That's each one of those could equate to a few seconds. Suddenly that 25 could turn into 40. I'm not saying it will, but it could if Ricky Russell not able to cleanly pass these lapped riders or catches them in the wrong section. I don't know that I can ever recall seeing this many lappers with this much frequency in an afternoon PM 3-hour bike race.
I think that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier too, Johnny. Like, a lot of people are finding out about GNCC and what it is. Like, you can ride for 3 hours. You have your time is at 1 o'clock, and this, as I believe, this part of the sport is getting really, really, really big, and it's getting a lot more attention. And you're seeing a lot of new riders coming to GNCC, and maybe that has a factor, maybe it doesn't. But I know for me, like, a lot of people this weekend have said, "Man, it's our first GNCC. What do we do? Tear-offs, roll-offs, what lens?" So it's cool to see the sport growing. But at the same time, like you said, a lot of lap traffic going into this one.
Yeah, it's unique challenges, and we've seen that trend kind of, I believe, over the last 10 years of people that have been moto people, different, that say, hey, man, it's just better bang for our buck racing off-road, you know, less time gone from home, more track time, you know, and not taking, moto is our very close cousin. We love motocross, but it is a different dynamic. There tends to be a little bit more camaraderie amongst the combatants and the families here. Everybody kind of comes, spends the night, grills out, you know, sits around the campfire, does a little chatting, and then they go out and bang bars the next day. And to the point of, you know, the sport growing, over 2,000 riders here this weekend, and we've seen this continue to grow. Back, I was talking to Auntie Collin, brand manager for Gas KTM Husqvarna. We talked about back when, for the very first time, GNCC broke 1,700 riders back at Unadilla, and thinking it'll never get bigger than this.
Oh, yeah.
And now we talk about, well, we had an off weekend. There was 1,600, 1,700 riders here. You know, normally we're well over 2,000. And it just shows the popularity of the sport, the popularity of the series, and everybody wants to be here and be part of it. And if they can, they want to sit at home and watch it on Racer TV Live.
I love it. Hey, that's good for everybody. It's good. It's so crazy. We look back, I hate mentioning the year, but 2020, something happened, and motorsports, like, caught fire. Everybody that hadn't been on a bike in years got back on a bike. People that their kids had never been on a bike, they said, this is our opportunity to ride. And here we are 4 years later. It's booming. And I think it's booming off-road, moto. I mean, you guys can speak to that too. It's a good time to own a dirt bike.
Yes, and they're racing.
It's a good time to own a dirt bike. It's a good time to enjoy dirt bike and ATV racing, outdoor sports in general. So many things going on, so many exciting things. And it's obviously, we're GNCC people. We love GNCC racing, but racing in general is booming. You know, we talk about, as we look at our running order here, 8th place overall. Dante Oliveira creeping his way up through. He's actually made the pass back on corrected time on some of our XC2 riders. This is a visiting champion. We mentioned him a little bit earlier in the show. He is a rider visiting from the West Coast. Not a lot of GNCC experience. To your point, actually came and tried his first GNCCs during COVID. The crew at GNCC doing the Safe to Race initiative, getting things rolling sooner than a lot of the other series. He was a factory contracted rider, and they said, hey, we need you racing somewhere. And he and his brother packed up their RV, came out here. As soon as he had the opportunity to fill in for the injured Ben Kelly, stepped up and said, I want to go GNCC racing. Committed at this point to 5 rounds. It would be interesting to see what happens if he does well. Does he stay and race more? I know he's contracted to do some other series, but we'll let him say what he's got going on. I believe we got a word with him here.
Right. Hopefully Ben heals up quick, and yeah, for now I'm gonna go have some fun out at Big Buck. First time here, and looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm a 4-time National Grand Prix champion, 2-time Works champion, and local D36 racer from NorCal. no expectation. But I mean, there's an expectation. If you know me, I love to win, so obviously that's a goal. But I know these boys are strong, and I'm a little out of my comfort zone, but not too much. So, yeah, I've done some laps on the e-bike, and hopefully I got this tracked out, and I can go give the boys a run for their money.
All right, so there it is in his own words, kind of what he's doing here, how he got here, and genuinely excited to be here. A little bit, he came right out and said, a little nervous of these trees, man. We don't have these things, but I'm going to try to figure it out and try not to meet any of them too up close and personal. Here's his teammate on screen, the 969 of Johnny Girard. Oh, little feet off the pegs. Roots getting a little slippery out there, but again, man, so many lapped riders really starting to believe that Johnny Girard is doing everything he can to get through these guys quickly, and we'll wait and we'll watch. We're looking for the 212 Ampro Yamaha. The gap has closed down a little bit. He's been able to work his way through the lappers pretty quickly. It is still the defending champion of Craig DeLong there in third, and still Stu Baylor, a lapper in between, but sitting there in fourth. And man, these guys are pushing. They want to get to Johnny Girard. They don't like that they can't physically see him right now.
This is crazy to watch with all the lap traffic. I feel like I am on my way home from a GNCC in the passing lane where the Prius is running 60 and a 70 right now. Like it's fun to watch, and it's got to be one of those things as a pro rider. You're balancing patience, irritation, frustration, and you're just trying to get through this, stay on the guy in front of you.
Absolutely, and we're 1 hour 34 minutes in, basically halfway through. We don't know how many laps. We'll get a confirmation from our crack scoring team, who absolutely nailed it yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
We got to give them love. We weren't sure if it was going to turn out to be a 4 or 5 lap race. They know the rules. They know what the lap times are looking like. They wait until it's the appropriate time to make the call. Our producer, Adam Gordon, coming in and telling us, word right now, 6-lap race. So, yeah, halfway through, and it's shaping up. But a lot of exciting racing action left today. We're going to get a word from our sponsors. We'll be back. We're going to settle this one out here. A lot of guys throwing their hat in the ring. Who's going to get it done?
You know, when I take the bike out like this, all my stresses just melt away.
I hear that. This bad boy can fix anything.
Yep, tough day at work. Nice cruiser sorts you right out.
When I'm riding, I'm not even thinking about my painful cavity.
Well, you shouldn't ignore that.
And every time I get stressed about having to pay my bills, I just hop on the bike, man.
Oh, come on, man. You gotta pay your bills.
You don't have to worry about anything when you're protected by America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
Well, you definitely do. Those things aren't related, so...
Ah, oh, that is a vibrating pain.
It's a big world out there. How do you choose to see it? When you crave the long canyons, rocky trails, rutted tracks, and lonely highways, they become a part of you. Podiums and personal records, we choose it all. Because life is about moving and feeling. It's about being connected to the adventure. Some just never pull the trigger. They keep waiting, wondering what it means to wander. It's a big world out there. You just need to ride where you belong.
Whatever you drive, however you drive. AMSOIL specially engineers lubricants to maximize power, performance, and protection in your vehicles, so you can work hard and play hard with confidence. Order online at amsoil.com.
Unleash aggression, reliability, and premium quality with Kenda tires. Delivering exceptional performance on all types of vehicles. Automotive, ATVs, UTVs, motorcycles, bicycles, trailers, lawn and garden, and even golf. Trust Kenda tires to guide you on your next adventure. Kenda, designed for your journey.
GNCC Racing on Racer TV is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You can save hundreds on car and motorcycle insurance. Specialized turbo e-bikes. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain.
Kevin Lavoie. I won the Blackwater 100 in 1975, 76, and 78. It wasn't a GNCC series at that time. It was just a one-off event. Certainly nothing like there is today. I mean, we were factory teams at the time, and we were showing up in vans for the races, and you know, it was no production like there is today. I think the GNCC series is what has evolved from those early days. Went back again in 76, went back in 77. I think I rode it every year through like 81 or 82. I think it just became the magnitude of the event. I mean, it was a happening. I mean, you've seen some of the old footage and stuff from those Blackwater days back then, and you know, right in the village of Davis there, and you know, it just became just a happening event to go to. The big difference, I think, then versus the ones today is they were long loops. We were doing 25-mile loops, and it was they weren't timed events. I think we run 5 laps, and if it took 5 hours, it took 5 hours. Whatever it took to go 5 laps, we raced it. Actually, if I remember right, that first event, that Danny Young, who was riding a Penton, actually finished first, crossed the finish line first, but I ended up beating him on adjusted time because I had started several minutes behind him. But the competition was pretty good. The Lojack family, they were down, they're synonymous with the Blackwater. A bunch of the Penton guys had come down from Ohio and Pennsylvania guys. There was a pretty diverse group of people there the first few years. The prep was pretty normal for the stuff that we had been doing, getting ready for the ISDT qualifiers to go to 6 days. You know, there's a lot of prep work in those bikes getting ready to go, and it was very similar to that. But back then, I mean, we were riding bikes that had, you know, 5-6 inches of travel in the suspension and stuff, and you know, they weren't as technologically advanced as they are today. I think it's just evolved. The whole sport has, whether it's you know, this type of racing or motocross. I mean, look at the motocrossing from back in the 70s and how it's changed and everything. Just the whole thing has evolved completely.
All right, we're back here and joined in studio with Kevin. Man, what a transition. You know, we asked you, you know, kind of what it was like to walk in here, look around, and one thing that you said right off the rip was you guys are doing a live TV broadcast from a semi on site.
Yeah.
How did you let people know about your results when you got a win?
Well, I told these guys when I first came in, you know, they're flying drones around. They got a live TV telecast from the trailer and stuff. And when I won the first Blackwater 100, I had to wait till the next day to call home on a payphone with the results. So that's how much things have changed in 50 years.
Things have come a long way, and you're a rich part of the history. We're really glad to have you here with us this weekend. I've never met you personally, but I've been a big fan. I was there for a few of your Blackwater wins. You wouldn't have known I was there. I was just a little, you know, young tot running around, just a kid. But you're a legend. It's awesome that you're able to come out and be a part of this, and we sure are happy to have you.
Well, it's nice to be a part of it and be invited in and to see what it's turned into in the last 50 years. And it's the Coombs family's taken it to where it is today. You know.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Could you have ever in your wildest dreams imagined that off-road racing, the 100-miler series, the GNCCs would evolve to what you're standing here as a part of today?
No, not at all. I mean, when we went the first time, I think I mentioned yesterday, you know, we loaded up in a van and went down It was a one-off event, the first Blackwater, and I think the first 5 or 6 years were just one-off events until it turned into the 100-mile series in the early 80s. And I think that's when it really started to take off at that point.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you for being here. We're so happy to have you here. Happy you get to see what it's all, what you helped lay the groundwork for. I mean, your hard work and going out there, your passion for dirt bikes, it's a huge part of what brought us here today.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and probably see you guys again in the next few weeks.
Hey, come and see us. We'd love to have you out. And so what's the chance you decide to throw a leg over a bike and go back out there?
That was my question, because we have a class for you, I can promise.
Oh, I don't think you do.
We go up to Platinum 70 plus.
Yeah. Platinum 70 plus.
70 plus. We had 6 guys out there today.
I did a little bit of mountain bike riding quite a while ago, and they had a class called the Clydesdale class. That was a good class for me back then. So.
Well, if you get the itch and you feel like it, I'm sure we can find you a dirt bike and get you out there, even if it's just maybe just ride around the first couple corners and show everybody the legend that you are, because we appreciate you coming out.
All right, thanks so much. Appreciate you having me.
Thanks for joining us.
Yep, likewise. Good job, guys.
There you go. How about that? A legend, Johnny. It was kind of interesting. Carrie Jo brought Kevin in, and she said, "Have you guys met Kevin?" Johnny said, "No, I haven't." And she said, "This is Kevin Leroy." And Johnny, Lavoie, excuse me. And Johnny said, "Oh, no, I do know who this is." So, yeah,
I'm
very
showing
cool
my
stuff.
age a bit, but, yeah, I mean, I've been here a long time, and you are a legend. We haven't seen you around in years, but it's good. My dad passed away many years ago, but he passed away in 2009. But John Gallagher, he was a factory KTM rider for a while back in the day, and yeah, he raced the 100-miler series from their inception, and raced the Blackwater. Was back into the 70s from before I was born. I was born in '78, and I remember your name, Mark Hyde, good friend of mine. He comes in and joins us on Racer TV, and you guys used to battle it out.
Lifelong friends since 1980. I love that.
Well, again, thanks for joining us, Kevin. We got some racing action on screen, and we're at the 8-mile marker. We're at the hill climb. Still Johnny Girard leading the way. Ricky Russell in second place. Craig DeLong in third. Stu Baylor fourth. And as we refresh, we have had a lap check in here now with 3 laps complete for actually our whole top 20 is checked in. We'll just give you the rundown. Mikey, keep an eye on the screen. Let me know if we're missing any of our leaders while we run down the top 10. Johnny Girard leading the way. Ricky Russell in second. Craig DeLong third. Stu Baylor fourth. Jordan Ashburn in fifth. Angus Riordan still in that number 6 place spot in the overall. Liam Draper 7th. Toby Cleveland 8th. Grant Davis 9th. And whoa, big change. Grant Baylor on the move up to 10th place overall. We talk about the Grizzly. When the Grizzly gets rolling, it's usually in the 3rd hour. He's getting rolling a little early today. We're not even at the 2-hour mark yet. And he is on the charge. Looks like, is that Johnny Girard on screen? Is that our leader?
Believe so. Still working through all of the lappers. Still got that yo-yo effect as well, where we're seeing, and that is Johnny Girard on screen. Still seeing that yo-yo effect, Johnny, where, hey, you pull away, get into lappers, pull them back in, accordion effect, whatever you want to call it. But this might become a very, very interesting last lap when we finally get to it.
Man, with so many riders in the mix, so many riders so close, and so many guys that are heavy hitters up there. Any one of these guys could at any moment just throw down a heater, go from 5th to 1st or 1st to 5th, and a lot of things will be shaken up. The track getting rougher. We're starting to see now, and a lot of things, too, to take into consideration. First race, some of the guys changing bikes. Some of the guys, just changing setups. And as you get deep into these races, that's when you start to see maybe a suspension setup that seemed to be really working in testing, starting to take its toll on these guys late in a race. Maybe a certain choice that they may have made with their setup, whether it be the ergonomics, the suspension, the whatever it is. It suddenly it kind of comes back and changes the scope of the race late in it. But man, again, more lap riders. We keep talking about it. We're not trying to sound like a broken record, but I've watched a few of these things over the years. I don't think I've ever seen them having to work their way through lap riders quite like this. This deep into a race.
Looking at the FMF PowerPoint, 969 Johnny Girard moving through as Russell, DeLong, Baylor, Ashburn try to keep pace with him in 2, 3, 4, and 5. And there is Russell, and there is his shadow, Stu Baylor.
It's actually.
You got there. We are.
There it is. Nope.
No. There we go. So Craig DeLong did give up that position to Stu Baylor, it was, and there is Jordan Ashburn. So that is your top 5 on screen through at the FMF PowerPoint at the 9-mile marker, working their way towards what will be 4 laps complete of what we were being told tentatively, unofficially, expected to be scheduled for a 6-lap race. All right, more shots from our Yamaha Racing.
Hey, you said it, not me.
I know, bad. I'm going to be fired for that one. Yamaha Racing live drone, but I believe we're going to come to a studio shot here, joined by, we've got legends, and we've got plenty of them today. In studio with Dunlop's Brock Glover. Brock, thanks so much for joining us today. You've been in the booth with us, pointing out a lot of things. You're astute, studying of these races. So many things to look for. What are you seeing? What's coming into play here as we're coming up on the 2-hour mark so far here today?
Well, as you mentioned, there's just a lot of riders on the track. The lap riders are going to be a big factor here. I mean, you have 400-plus riders in this wave. GNCC has almost 2,000 riders over 2 days, and you have three races today. The 1 o'clock one has about 400 riders. So these top-level riders, XC1, XC2, they're battling with a lot of A riders, and they're still moving. You can see the discrepancy of the speeds, and the top, Gerard and those guys are going through them so fast that it's a line selection at a split second is very, very crucial.
Brock, I got to ask. Okay, so you go to the moto, you come out here to the off-road. We're always jawing back and forth, and I got to be careful how I word this.
You're going to stir the pot, aren't you?
And Loretta's guy, too. A little bit of outdoor here and there, but what's the environment like? I mean, what's the difference in a guy that's, hey, I'm hardcore off-road versus the guy that, hey, I'm hardcore moto?
Well, I think Johnny came from a moto background. I believe he's from the Massachusetts area, so I think he spent plenty of laps, probably at Southwick, actually. So you can see his style. He looks a little moto to me. You talked about Ricky Russell. I mean, I actually haven't met Ricky Russell too much before this weekend, and ironically enough, I actually got to spend about 30-40 minutes with him yesterday, and another 20 or 30 minutes today on the starting line watching his friend ride his practice bike. And I didn't realize, but Ricky told me he didn't start racing until he was 17 years old. So anybody out there that's a recreational rider and just really loves the sport, GNCC is obviously a good place to start and to come after, so you don't have to be 12 years old when you when you start racing, and it's neat to see Ricky Russell to have so much success like this starting later on. But moto, and you guys hit it right on the head there when you talked about the fact that you can come here and know your start time is, let's say it's a 10 a.m. start time on a Sunday. You don't have to get here, on Friday. You can show up and ride if you really just want to come for the weekend. And I saw, a lot of people go home after they get done riding. They go home and watch the Racer X coverage later on online, and they head there. And so it's something that you don't have to spend all day if you don't want to.
Sure.
Otherwise, you can come out, camp. They do it all the time. People are having barbecues and a lot of camaraderie here. So it's a wonderful series.
We also run an industry class once in a while if you want to come race.
Hey, we're trying to get Kevin Lavoie back.
I know, I'm just everybody.
I did see you were sitting, I don't know, was it an IT or a TT Yamaha on the starting line this morning?
It was a 1980, I think it's 87 model.
Let's go.
An IT 200, and the thing was mint.
I'm showing my age there. When I said IT, Mikey Wayne was like, I don't know what that is. Is that like a car?
It kind of looks like an old YZ 125 with a 200 cylinder on top of it. It's just an air-cooled kickstart. The old Yamaha bike of it, the old Yamaha blue before Yamaha was blue. Now the old IT models were all blue back in the days when I rode for him, and I was surprised the guy was taking the bike out there and running this morning. But he came up after the race, said, "Hey man, finished no problem, no issues whatsoever." But it was in such a good shape bike that I hated to see him go out there and beat it up.
I'm guessing that guy is going to take that bike home. Hopefully he got some photos of you sitting on that machine, because I guarantee that made his weekend. You're a legend in the sport. Obviously you're here with Dunlop. This rider out front, Johnny Gerard, and quite a few of the riders up front, obviously Dunlop riders. I know you guys have some new products. You have some new tires you've just released. Tell us a little bit about the tire selection for this weekend and how that could come to play during the racing action today.
Well, you talk about that's part of the reason we started a new loyalty program this weekend, and I was very instrumental in adapting. It's when you buy 6 tires, you get 1 free, and it's just easier than to manage the contingency and all the issues that go along with that. And it's just rewarding people for just purchasing our Dunlop tires. But you're talking about tires. Yes, we have the new AT82. It's replacing the AT81. Just came out this year. We also last year started the MX34 mid-season launch last year, so a lot of the GNCC riders also use it. But I've never seen such a wide variety of tires being out there. Like, you know, you look at Jordan Ashburn, he's running our EN91, which is really a tire that was designed, a DOT-approved tire for the hardcore, you know, I want to call it dual sport guy, a little advanced from dual sport, but they run them in the ISDE races, and it is, and Jordan really likes that tire on the rear, and he's got the new AT82 front on his gas. So you talk about riders switching brands. I mean, Stewie's what, 3 different brands in 3 years.
Three brands in 3 years.
And then Jordan came off the Husky onto the gas. Not that much difference, but you know, he's also switching brands, and it just, you see with all the tire selection that they've had and the bikes changing, the first round, it's just all over the map with tires.
Yeah, that was a great. Actually, I was going to bring that up during the broadcast when I walked up. I'm an ATV guy, but I'm a tire guy at heart. We don't have to compete against each other because I don't make dirt bike. We don't make dirt bike tires. We do ATV and light truck. But that said, first thing I noticed on the XC1 starting line, Jordan with that FIM tire, and I was like, what is that? And for folks that don't know at home, little explanation. You can go into more finite details, but it's a much shorter knob. It's got a lot less tread depth to it, and it's essentially a tire that is the reason it's DOT approved. And they can run them, obviously, in the International 6 Days Enduro, and a lot of, not only that, like the World Enduro, they do transfers that are on public roads. As such, they have to run a DOT-approved tire. There's a certain tread depth that you can or cannot run. You have to submit those tires, get them approved. The fact that Jordan, you guys have a very extensive tire catalog, that he went through and said, yep, that's the one for this track, blew my mind, and I saw several people looking at it going, has he bumped his head? But at the same time, here we are, and he's running inside the top 5 with inside of the lead. So obviously that tire selection not holding him back. A lot of that does just come down to personal preference, no?
It is, and that tire, you mentioned that, you know, we call it a shallow lug or, you know, lower knob height because of the FIM and the DOT requirements. So that tire is more quote-unquote trail-friendly is also part of the reason. But it also, that tire has a pretty tall sidewall on it, and I think Jordan was thinking that with the rocks and the ledges and things here, that'd be a good choice. And again, these conditions are pretty darn good, as you see right here. Very, very limited amount of dust, and when they're in the woods and trails, there's no dust coming up. That's why you're seeing the racing so close. The visibility is outstanding for these guys. And so even right here, you watch, there's almost nothing flying up off the tires. And so because of that, I mean, I know the Baylor brothers are running our MX53, which is what we consider our hard terrain tire for motocross. So we've got everything out there from 33s, the older 33s, to the new 34s. We've got you mentioned the EN91. We've got AT81 rears. We've got AT82 rears, AT82 fronts. So it's crazy how many different choices of tires, but that will narrow down as the season goes on and riders get more used to the new AT82.
And obviously different tracks require different tracks and different conditions require different tires. One thing I thought that was interesting, first time I'd seen it, we got a battle on screen. We're looking at our 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place riders separated by just a few seconds, if that. Again, Johnny Gerard still out front and now working his way through the final chicanes for what should be, with 4 laps complete. Is he holding a 2-lap card?
I couldn't quite see Ricky.
We are told, we believe it is going to be a 6-lap race. We do not get to call those things officially.
That's true.
We want to say that 100% on the record. It is not recorded. We relay the information given to us, and we're told that it should be a 6-lap race, which should mean that Ricky Towery should have a 2-lap card in his hand, and Ricky Russell should be in pursuit, along with Stu Baylor and Craig DeLong, not far behind him, Jordan Ashburn. It's crazy to see how close these guys are, and Johnny Gerard is kind of managing the gap at this point. There's a lapped rider there, another lapped rider, and then the number 3, Coastal Racing Gas. It's hard. It's round 1. I've said Gas. My apologies to the Coastal Bicon team and all of the supporters of that team. Jordan Ashburn on a new. We were so used to seeing him on that Magna 1 Motorsports Husqvarna. Still a part of that same family, but now on the red machine. He's on the gas, and that team doing a great job keeping him up front, getting him happy in the offseason. And this guy, no team switches, no major changes of any kind from 2023, but hard to argue, maybe a little different Johnny Gerard than what we saw all except one round of 2023. Really had a few races where he was in the mix for a podium and got on the podium, but by his standards, by anyone's standards, not a banner year for Johnny Gerard, but can't really start it off any better than this.
That's it. I mean, Johnny was so red hot coming out of that XC2. I think everybody kind of circled his name. It's like, okay, he's the next guy. He is the next guy that's going to battle with his teammate, Ben Kelly, and then just never really came to fruition for Johnny Gerard. So, hey, clean slate this year. see if he can make it happen, and still a heated battle with Baylor and DeLong and Russell.
Yeah, he's gotten around Craig. He's been in that third place spot. He's working on Ricky Russell, trying to get to second. And to get around Ricky Russell, at this point, not taking anything away from Ricky, but Ricky's been there behind Johnny this whole time and not able to make any inroads. So Stu Baylor seeming to have the pace we saw when he got into second. Before they pitted and he lost that position, it seemed like that was when they started making a little bit of ground up on Johnny Gerard. But right now, he's not able to make the pass. And Ricky Russell absolutely ripping, not by any means holding Stu Baylor up, but I think Stu Baylor may want to try and give it a little more fuel, give it a little more pace, and send it. See if he can catch up to the 969 of Johnny Gerard, because we're starting to run out of laps here. 2 laps to go. The next time they come by, it'll be a white flag waving. And at that point, it's kind of throw the Hail Mary. You know, we got to go. We got to get this thing done.
I mean, even if Stu has a split second more speed than Ricky, if he does, that would lead loud. If he gets around Ricky, then he can maybe close the gap. And, you know, it might help Ricky. It could possibly, you know, bring him up into Johnny's rear a little tire.
We saw that before. You know, when Stu got by, Ricky tried to latch onto him. Stu was able to pull away at first, and then he got that second chance because Stu got held up by those lappers just the tiniest little bit. And once he recovered, he latched onto Stu and never let him go. Was able to make the pass back in the pits. Quick rundown here with 4 laps complete. Let's run down our top 10 overall. Johnny Gerard leading the way, Ricky Russell second, Stu Baylor in third, Craig DeLong fourth, Jordan Ashburn in the number 5 spot. Uh-oh, folks. Grant Baylor up to 5th and only 25 seconds behind Jordan Ashburn. The Grizzly, Grant Baylor, is on the charge, and we are not even to the completion of the second hour. We're real close. We got 1 minute left. But third hour, Grant Baylor, that's what he's known for. He kind of starts off slow, and he just gets going and going and going. And he's within striking distance as we look 25, 26, 28, 34, about just at a minute behind our leader. So within a minute and within less than 30 seconds of the podium is Grant Baylor on the charge. Again, 22nd overall early in this one, and he's all the way up to 6th place and making grounds. New leader, Brock pointing out in XC2, Liam Draper. He did get around Angus Riordan. 1.9 seconds separating that one, though. That one's far from decided. Still nice and close. And just behind them, it is Grant Davis in the 3rd spot, 26 seconds back, followed by Toby Cleveland in his, I believe, debut ride in XC2, and doing very well up there. And there is on screen, that is Grant Davis, and that may or may not have been Toby Cleveland just behind him. No, he's about 13 seconds back, so he should be coming any moment now. So, man, we got battles across all of our top classes. Don't know that we've done a rundown yet of our XC3 FMF 125 Pro-Am, but leading the way in that one, it is Jack Walker, followed by Dakota DeVore and Dustin Simpson rounding out the top 3. Those guys with 3 laps complete, but a pretty close battle. Jack Walker and Dakota DeVore separated by only 2.3 seconds. So sometimes we see these guys work their way up inside of the top 20, and it's a little easier to kind of work them in. Man, we're just so stacked right now. They haven't quite got there yet. We've got XC1 guys that are ripping barely inside the top 20, so it's definitely hard to chip away on those little 125 small bore machines.
I feel like this has been a wild big buck this year, and over the last few years, Johnny, unfortunately, we've seen a lot of big injuries and guys kind of changing the trajectory of their seasons here in Big Buck. And it was almost, we've talked a lot about the lappers, but I feel like everybody today has been cool, calm, and collected. It's like, I need to see the checkered flag after round 1. I need to see the checkered flag every race, because over the last 3 years, the man who gets the title is the man who stays consistent. So guys like Trevor Bollinger, guys like Thad Duvall now in that XC2 class, they need to see that checkered flag. Thad is doing really well out there, and I talked to him. We did a Tuesday toolbox on the website. I said, all the cliches out the window. You look like a man who's actually having fun on his dirt bike again. He's like, Mikey, I am. And I believe we have an interview with Thad. We caught up with him prior to today's race.
It's been amazing. I've been having so much fun. And, yeah, just being at the Shoals with Stu and then with all the kids, it's been awesome. Like, it's been a blessing for sure, and I've been having a lot of fun. And kind of relates over to riding a bike. It's been fun. It's been, I mean, stopwatch national every day with Pajim, me and Stu, and I think neither of us like to lose to each other. So it makes it fun. It keeps me on my toes and keeps him on his toes, and yeah, I feel like I maybe made him lose all that weight being on his toes, but no, it's good. So, but yeah, a lot of fun this year, and the bike's badass. I don't know. I feel like there's more pressure for me to win in XC2 than there was to win XC1, but yeah, just obviously this place has been a demon in the past. So we get through here, and then on to Florida, where I feel like I ride a little better. And yeah, like I said, the bike's awesome. We've been testing. I feel like Stu has given me every possible opportunity to test anything that I wanted to, so it's been good. We've had a few sponsors step up and send some really good parts, and yeah, it's been amazing, and yeah, nothing less than stellar today.
So yeah, Thad having fun on his dirt bike. I think that's big for him. He's had so many more downs than ups over the last few years, and it's good to see Thad kind of that new perspective, a dad as well, and doing well. There is the Grizzly Grant Baylor.
He's on the charge. He's up to 6th and trying to track down Jordan Ashburn for that number 5 spot. That's a big move for Grant Baylor. There is Evan Smith, another rider. Evan Smith, not far behind. Whoa, did we miss him in the overall? He can't be a lap down. Sorry. Talk amongst yourselves while I check some results here.
No, I think that's right. I think Draper and Riordan have him on adjusted time, right?
Oh, so we're that tight that that it's just, even though he's right there behind Grant Baylor, yeah, Grant Baylor, Liam Draper, Angus Riordan, Evan Smith, 9th overall. Yeah, again, on that Husqvarna this year, we're told we may have a shakeup when did have a shakeup when they came through here. Ricky Russell may have hit the deck, back up and rolling though, and Johnny Gerard still leading the way on that 969 machine. Back to that Thad Duvall interview, talking about having fun. The one thing he said, hey, this round has been my Achilles heel nemesis. I don't remember the word he used.
It's been a demon.
Yeah, demon. Okay, well, I didn't want to be misquoted. There is Liam Draper there, and this is your XC2 battle right here. 1, 2. And that's Mike Wachowski, now an XC1 rider, but 1 and 2. So that is right there leading the way, Liam Draper. Brock, you pointed out, if there's a hard charger award today, hard not to give it to Liam Draper. Yeah. Spotted the Class 2 corners, currently leading. 2 laps to go, Angus Riordan right there. And then there is Dante Oliveira, a little love for that guy. Yeah. Looking like he may have actually given up a spot. I think that might have been Ryder Lafferty in front of him. So Lafferty looking like he's on a charge. There is Josh Strang on the factory Sherco. There is Grant Davis. So that's 3rd in your XC2 Pro Lights class. And then Trevor Bollinger on the 739 machine coming through there. So again, a lot of heavy hitters back here, a little further back in the pack. Bollinger running 15th overall, Strang 14th. Oliveira had a pretty good push there early. Got up as high as 6th or 7th overall back in 13th. Still a very, very solid ride for him. Toby Cleveland right there. I believe that was him going by 4th place in our XC2 Pro Lights class. And yeah, little mix up this year with Josh Strang, Sherco. Solid start for him. I'm sure 14th, maybe not where he was wanting to finish up in the OA, but I mean, that's a new machine for him, a new team. He was trying to find a home, I believe, where he could really, I don't want to say close out his career, but he feels he's got a good couple years left in him, and they're here. They've got a rig, they've got a team, and man, to be top 15 in a GNCC on a new team in your first race, nothing to shake a stick at.
That's it. Hey, Josh Strang, every time you count that man out, though, he makes something happen. So we'll take a short break. We'll come back getting down to the nitty-gritty. This is VP Racing Fuels Big Buck GNCC.
Born of family values and a homegrown work ethic, Cometic Gasket seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Cometic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best inside their engine. Cometic Gaskets are always constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environments. Whether it's a championship on the line or a day in the dirt with friends, professionals and enthusiasts alike depend on Cometic. Cometic Gasket, sealing championships since 1989.
7-time GNCC champion Walker Fowler, and I run GBC.
Like a bullet into the first turn, the number 1 with the pink helmet and pink bars. It is Walker Fowler, the 17th.
Fist pump. You should be proud of yourself, Devin Feehan. What a ride today.
I'm Devin Feehan, and I run GBC.
I'm Josh Merritt, and I run GBC.
I'm Chris Borch, and I run GBC.
And welcome back to VP Racing Fuel's Big Buck GNCC, round number 1 of the 2024 season. And sounds like as we are brought back, I believe we have got a pit report. Jackson Burrell standing by in the pits.
Yeah, thanks, Mikey. Yeah, I'm down here in the pits right now. Everything seems to be going smooth. No major issues. I'll let you know if anything arises.
All right, there we go. So we got a man on the scene in case something does happen.
You know, I was going to bring that up there, Johnny. It's one of those things, like, knock on wood, that we don't have. But this has been a clean race.
Yeah.
Like, this track has claimed some bikes as well over the last few years, and we've not had that today. Again, knock on wood. Everybody bring it home. Everybody bring home the checkers.
Well, and they do have to come through the GBC Tires pit stop area 2 more times. One of those times would be the opportunity if they're concerned that they didn't take enough fuel. Johnny Gerard on screen. Whoa, that seemed to be a little new intensity. I think maybe he got a pit board. Hey, that guy, 514, Stu Baylor, he's back there. He's on a charge. He's from here. Don't let him get close, dude.
The guy lives about, I know he probably slept in his own bed last night, about 40, 50 miles out of here, maybe at the most, and he knows this terrain, as you said. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with Stu. He wants to win on this new bike, new program.
There he is. Oh, Craig DeLong has caught a ride. He is behind Stu Baylor. Got caught up a little bit behind that lapped rider, but looking like he's got some pace. He's able to latch on to Stu. Looks like the word we got that Ricky Russell had gone down temporarily. We're not. He's still here. He's still kicking. Jordan Ashburn able to make the pass. He's up into the number 4 spot. We wait and we watch for the 212 of Ricky Russell or the 314 of Grant Baylor. And there he is, the Ricky Russell. So he is still in that number 5 spot, still solidly in the top 5. But look at this, he's got company. Here comes the 314 of Grant Baylor, and he's on a charge, pushing hard. Can see Ricky Russell there in front of him now, and tasting blood in the water. We talked about those sharks. Fuel mileage, that's what I was talking about a moment ago. We got 2 trips back through the watching from our live drone, coming up through that GBC Tires pit stop area. Are we going to see some splash and goes? Is anybody concerned about fuel mileage? New bikes, new teams, new machines. I'm not certain that all these guys know exactly where they do tanks on different bikes. You know, this could come into play, especially as tight as this racing action is. Will it be a situation where we see some gas and goes, or is everybody good to go and they've had their one fuel stop and that's all it's going to take?
Between Gerard, Russell, Baylor, or any of those guys that you know of, Johnny, a little more harder on the gas than the other?
I'll be honest. I would normally say that Johnny Gerard probably. I don't know this. I'm speculating because he's Brock, you pointed out, technically not moto background, but moto J-Day, but very similar moto type racing GP. And yes, he has spun a lot of laps around Southwick, no question about that. But he's pretty hard on the throttle normally. But I gotta say, most of the early part of today just kind of looked like he was cruising, looking like he clicked it up a gear, a lot of feet on the pegs, wasn't blowing out berms, wasn't pushing outside lines, probably saving some fuel. Stu Baylor, notorious for burning fuel.
Right. And he had a very poor, he lost 2 spots in the pits last time. So the last thing Stu Baylor wants to do is...
He doesn't want to pit again.
No, he doesn't want to.
But yeah, Ricky Russell, don't know the fuel mileage on, these are the things we find out as the season goes on. Sometimes these guys will share with us, hey, we're a little light on fuel mileage. The tank that we have this year, a little few ounces down on some of the other guys, so we're going to stop an extra time. But a day like today, those were what seems like it wouldn't be a big thing. These guys shoot for, 5, 6, 8-second pit stops, and, it adds up. I mean, 8 seconds could very easily lose you 3 spots if you're in that battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th right now.
And Russell, they have the little different tank. If you noticed on his bike with a IMS the Quick Fill on it, he's got a little cap on it. Traditionally looks like a motocross seat, and the other bikes just have an open. So Ricky's a little bit different setup on his Yamaha. So I don't think it takes more than a second or two to pull that cap off. But every little second matters in this when these guys are running as close as they are.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to be in and out of the pits as quick as possible, or avoid a second stop if you can. Sometimes, like if you're in the Johnny Girard, not a huge lead. When they checked in last lap, it was 25 seconds. They're coming down. We'll see what it is at the end of this lap if he's still holding on to the lead. 25 seconds though, good lead. Not enough that you want to give away 8 to 10 of that to take a splash if you don't need to. If you got a minute, sure. You take that little insurance splash. You stop, even if it's just a boom, top off, 4 seconds. But I think if you're Johnny Girard, unless you absolutely need the fuel, the crew's going to tell him, keep going, hammer down.
Well, 25 seconds the last round. We saw at Ironman last year was the difference between first and about 12th place. I think we had the top
tight
6.
racing today, but not quite as tight as it was at our final round of 2023. That was some phenomenal racing to cap off a phenomenal season.
Yeah. Is this going to be another year? We see 7 winners, 7 rounds. Come on, let's do it.
We didn't even bother talking about it last year because we never even knew it was possible. So I don't think we should start talking about it.
Fair
now.
enough. All right.
Let's get one winner down before.
All right.
No. I didn't mean it like that. Let's just let it. We need to hype it. But
I will never bring up a perfect season again. I can tell you that much.
No, you
the announcer's curse already.
Yeah.
You're already cursing.
Round
him
1.
Finished it.
We haven't even gotten to checkers yet.
Was that Johnny Girard that just went up the hill there?
I believe so. Yeah.
Leading the way. Look at this.
And here comes Grant.
Isn't quite
Stu,
25 seconds. So there's your second place rider. He's opened up a little bit of a gap over, I believe that was Craig DeLong that just went by there on camera. Not a huge gap, but had a lapped rider in between that could easily equate to a couple seconds by the time Craig's able to make that pass. So this one's coming down to the nitty-gritty, getting down to the wire. 2 hours, 15 minutes into this one, and they're putting the finishing touches on lap number 5. A white flag will be waving, and it'll be a 1-lap sprint to the finish for all these guys.
Yeah, we don't know right now. I mean, Grant's making a charge right now on Ricky Russell. We don't know if Ricky Russell, when he went down, did he damage his bike, bend his bars? We're not sure if he's running at 100% or not. So, we talk about blood in the water here. Grant's got Ricky right ahead of him.
Let's talk about a little bit of kind of our expectations coming into today. On screen, Johnny Girard making some, actually Stu Baylor there, recognize the Camelback, making some passes on some lapped riders. Guys, expectations for today versus what we've seen so far? What's been a surprise? What's kind of been what you thought would happen?
Johnny Girard, I don't know if I'd say surprise, because we've expected this from him for a number of years. But I would say if you were to just, hey, we know DeLong's going to be in it. We know Baylor's going to be in it. Who is going to be that third guy? Well, they are in it, but you've got Girard and Russell up there. Well, I guess Baylor's up in front of Russell right now. But I would say big surprise is Johnny Girard and Ricky Russell. This competitive up front this late, because over the last couple of years we saw Ricky Russell kind of fade in that third hour over the last couple of years. Irritated the guts out of him too. He hated that. So I think Ricky Russell feels really good about today.
Johnny Girard on screen leading the way, still out front. Let's see what the gap is. 2:15.50 as he crested the top of the FMF PowerPoint. 2 hours, 15 minutes, 50 seconds. Don't think we're going to have to wait very long to find out what the gap is, because I think that's the 5:14 of Stu Baylor, and it is. So we're looking at 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 seconds, somewhere in there. So he shaved it down from 25. He's made up about 6 seconds in roughly 9 miles of trail. And keeping in mind, much of that time he was behind Ricky Russell. Did I miss Craig DeLong? Did he come through that shot?
I did not see Craig, unless we missed him on the camera shot.
Don't know if our producers could confirm, but I did not. I was talking, and I like,
I was watching, but I don't think I saw Craig.
I didn't see him either, but that's not saying
Jordan Ashburn.
Right. And there is Jordan Ashburn. Last we knew was our 4th place rider. There is Grant Baylor up to now has got around Ricky Russell and all the way up to Jordan Ashburn. So look at that. Grant Baylor continues to be on the move up to at least 5th place and potentially depending on where Craig DeLong slots in there, could be as high as 4th. We're not saying Craig didn't come through. We just didn't see him on screen. One of the challenges sometimes of being here in the booth, you see what we can see on screen, and sometimes those guys will take a different line, or the camera's panning back and we just miss them, or sometimes we just outright miss them. So Stu Baylor on screen, number 2 spot, 17, 18, 19 seconds, somewhere in there is the gap as we counted it out at the top of the FMF PowerPoint. And man, he's really on the charge. Oh, listen to that. DeLong just now coming through the FMF PowerPoint, losing a lot of time and falling surely outside the top 5, possibly even maybe outside the top 10 overall once they start doing the time corrections on this one. So that's a big change from what we saw just a few miles ago.
It's your fault, Mikey. The announcer's curse. He's like, hey, we haven't had any problems. Everything's good. The track hasn't gathered up too many of the riders. And next thing you know, Ricky Russell goes down and Craig goes down. But, I was going to say that my surprise, Johnny's been my surprise too. he's assumed that leadership role in the KTM camp, and he went right to the top, and he shows, this is why I need to be the leader of the team right now. And he's riding very, very well. We'll see if Stu can get any closer to him or not. But we had last time, I think with our unscientific method, it was about 18, 19 seconds.
Yep. That's kind of what we look, judging by the clock on the screen, and we don't have a specific transponder point or a line on the ground, so it could be plus or minus a second or two. But we do know that Stu has made up a few seconds and made at least one pass in that amount of time. And throughout much of the early part of lap number 5, he was behind Ricky Russell, and we were theorizing that maybe he would have a little more pace if he could get around Ricky. It looked like that's what he was wanting to do, and seems like so far he's made up some time. Is there enough time left? 20 seconds, not a bridge too far to cross in over a lap of racing still remaining, but also it's no gimme. It's, he's not there on the rear wheel yet, and I don't imagine that Johnny Gerard is going to try to make it easy on him to get there.
Not. And I know Stu, you talk about Stu, he's won 18 GNCC XC1 classes, and in other sports you always talk about the best player to not have won a title, or best player in golf to not won a major. That's kind of what's, unfortunately, the monkey on the back right now is Stu Baylor too. He is probably the best rider and won the most races to not have won a GNCC championship. So this is the year. Last year he started off with a win here. His season was an up and down, a lot of wins, but had some DNFs and had some troubles, injuries, and so here hopefully he'll just, as we mentioned, you don't have to win every single one. Jordan Ashburn won the championship by not being the guy that won every single one, but he was right on the podium or near the podium almost every single week, and for all 13 rounds. So that's, Stu maybe got that in the back of his mind. Yeah, and I think, it was brought up in the interview, Mikey, you alluded to it earlier, for Stu, is this a do or die situation in terms of winning the championship this year? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't think we've seen Stu Baylor. This won't be his last season of racing, I highly doubt. But I surely can say confidently today is not a do or die situation for him in terms of winning. For sure, wants to be on the podium, needs to be in the top 5 to not put himself in a bad position, which he's solidly in second, and he's possibly seeming to be making a little ground on the leader. But Stu, again, race IQ through the roof, genius level race IQ. He's going to push, he's going to throw everything at it, but he's also going to stay in enough control that he's not going to throw away a second, I don't want to say for sure second place, but he's now got a good gap back to the 3rd place rider of Jordan Ashburn. It's going to be a calculated risk. You want to go for the win, but you definitely don't want to throw away what is starting to appear to be a pretty sure podium if he doesn't make any mistakes, and Stu's good at that. He's not, Stu of old would have thrown everything at it, taken the risk, collided with the lapper, taken trees out by the roots, going for the win, and thrown away 25 points in pursuit of 5 more. He's not going to do that today. He may win the race, but if he does it, he's within himself to do it.
And I also feel like devil's advocate for Stu is, he needs that top 5, because then he says, okay, I'm still in that championship hunt. Where we would see Stu go to the old Stu is, hey, if I have an outside the top 20 finish, now I'm going to go 120 miles an hour in Florida and in Georgia in the next round. And then that's where the mechanicals happen. That's where the injuries happen. I think Stu's more mature than that now.
Yeah, and if you don't put yourself in bad positions, you don't have to make those hero-crazy decisions and rides. We don't know the outcome. We're getting ready to see white flag. It's starting to look like this is maybe coming down to a 2-horse race. The other thing let's not take out of the equation here, Grant Baylor not that far behind Stu Baylor. And if we look at lap times, we'll have to look at the next one, but we look at the lap times, from the previous lap. 29 flat. Stu Baylor, the fastest lap of the top 5. But our 6th place rider, 28:37, 23 seconds faster. Grant Baylor. I think we've got Jackson, and we got a little bit of time here. This is the auxiliary pits. I think Jackson and Zach are going to call the action coming through the pro pit area, the factory pro pit area. That's our auxiliary XC2 pit area. And yeah, so that's worth mentioning. 23 seconds. 23 seconds, Grant Baylor, faster than everyone else on the track on lap number 4. As we're on lap number 5, if he keeps that pace up, that would move him all the way up basically to the back of Stu. I mean, he would be right there battling his big brother for 2nd and 3rd, those final 2 podium positions, if he continues on that same pace and everyone else does. Again, a lot of ifs there.
His not so big brother anymore, because we talk about Stu.
True.
I mean, this
older brother.
Older brother, but we know, I mean, Stu, I mean, talking about taking it a little more seriously, I mean, he can downplay it and talk it down, but when you drop 30 or 40 pounds or whatever, he's, it's Stu. I haven't seen Stu this thin and in shape as he's been, and Thad Duvall, he talked about it earlier, how he.
Hey, Adam.
All right, Johnny Gerard is coming through the pits now. He is going to pass it on up this time around.
All right, so no pit for Johnny Gerard there. We'll wait and watch what will be the word when Stu Baylor comes through on that 514 Rocky Mountain Red Bear Racing Kawasaki machine. And here he is. Is he going to pit? Does he need to splash fuel? We'll throw it to Jackson.
All right, Stu coming down now. No, Stu is not going to pit, and he looks like he is on the charge.
Yeah, it looks like he's taken maybe another 4 or 5 seconds out of that lead.
And Brock counting it down there, it looked like it was about 15 seconds from what had been 25 down to 19, now down to 15. The seconds are clicking away at the lead of Johnny Gerard, but we will see them here within the next minute or so, minute and a half, crossing the line for what will be a white flag waving. Ricky Towery will have that white flag. He will wave it for the leader as he comes by, signifying one more lap of racing action before we determine the winner here today. Again, looking like, barring a big charge from possibly Jordan Ashburn, possibly Grant Baylor, looking like it may be coming a 2-horse race for the win here today.
Did Jackson have a grizzly sighting yet?
Hey, this is Zach. We're down here. Jackson just passed the mic over. Not only did we have a grizzly sighting, but he was hot on the heels of Jordan Ashburn. Maybe 2 or 3 bike lengths. Neither one of them decided to pit, and they were wide open coming through this pit lane area.
Well, there we go. And didn't intentionally slight Jordan Ashburn. Actually, just forgot he was in there. He's white flag waving. Johnny Gerard out in pursuit of the last lap. He's led this thing basically wire to wire at this point. He does not want to give up the lead. Stu Baylor now into the finish line chicanes. Mikey Waynes.
Hey, Stu Baylor right now flirting in that area of where he can just see Johnny Gerard and Johnny Gallagher, from racing XC1 Pro. Once you can see them, you can catch them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that mental draft. I mean, once you can see him, you start to see, hey, I'm getting a little closer than I was the last time I saw him. You're making ground. And if you're Johnny Gerard, the last thing you want to do is start looking. You want to know where he's at, but you don't want to start looking over your shoulder.
Well, that one corner we just saw Stu in right there, I saw Johnny each lap kind of glance over, because you can see back here right before the finish line area that you can check over and see where the riders
Jordan
are.
Ashburn, Grant Baylor on screen, wheel-to-wheel battle. Looking right now like maybe it is Grant Baylor who has a little bit more pace than Jordan Ashburn, but he has been on him since, I believe, the 9-mile marker. So over 2 miles, he's been all over the back of Jordan Ashburn, not able to make the pass and further his progress to try to make up ground on the leaders in front of him.
Pesky.
Hey guys, I'm going to jump in real quick. Your defending champion, Craig DeLong, just came through. It took us a second to figure out who it was because he had no front number plate on that Rockstar Energy Husky. So something big going wrong for your reigning champ.
Well, there you go. We'll wait when he does check in at the finish line to see what the overall position is. Stu Baylor on screen, riding that high line, putting it up high on the berm, searching for some smooth ground. Full intensity, full push, full sprint for Stu Baylor.
You see the track right now getting a little rougher, and also it's getting a little drier, more dust than we've seen earlier. In the woods, pretty tacky. You can see there's no dust kicking up. It's great for this overhead Yamaha drone shot there, but out on the hardpack area and there's rider down. That's the leaders having to dodge traffic, trees, and down bikes.
Hey guys, quick update here on the gaps. Interesting. Something happened between the GBC Tires pit stop area and the finish line. Stu Baylor a full 25 seconds behind Johnny Gerard. It was down to, we think, 15 there. You counted out in the pits, but he's 25 seconds behind when they checked in with official timing and scoring, and then another 28 seconds back to Jordan Ashburn Grant Baylor battle. So just just under a minute back is that battle for the final podium position from your leader, Johnny Gerard. And splitting the distance, it is Stu Baylor in the number 2 spot. Johnny Gerard leading the way. 1 lap of racing left here. We're in the Monster Mile. We have seen our top 2 come through. Will Grant Baylor be able to get around? No, it is still Jordan Ashburn. But, man, you want to talk about a wheel-to-wheel battle.
Yeah, Grant Baylor showing him that front wheel right there. So love to see it.
They went out of sight there, side by side. It looks like it's crazy how close they are after all these, you're over 2 hours of racing and they're just wheel to wheel.
Grant just gets so strong late in these. Talking to a lot of the guys, we have to interview him now. Ricky Russell back on the charge, gave up some time. He and Craig looking like they both had a little bit of a rough lap there with separate crashes. Ricky able to rebound a little bit quicker and hold on to that number. Oh, look at this. Evan Smith up into the top 5 overall.
He's been sensational
and
today,
only,
by the way. Yeah.
Whoa. Evan Smith only 4 seconds behind Grant Baylor.
Yep.
Apologies, Evan. Didn't see you on screen.
I thought that was
He's in 5th place, and he is within 4 seconds of a podium spot. Shout out to the number 347 of Evan Smith on that Husqvarna. Apologies, don't know who his sponsors are, but we'll get those because when you're a guy in front in the top 5, we got to talk about you. And, man, great job today from Evan Smith. Very possibly in the battle for a podium here on the final lap. And still right there in the mix with Grant Baylor and also Jordan Ashburn. So quietly early in the race, but he's really starting to make himself seen here late.
Yeah, Evan Smith, I mean, you're right. We've given a lot of love to Johnny Gerard, rightfully so, leading the race and kind of the surprise pick we were all talking about. But Evan Smith, if you were to guess, hey, he's going to get a top 5 today, I think everybody would been like, I don't know about that. But, hey, he's doing it right now.
A top 5 and 4 seconds off of a potential podium. This isn't a guy that's riding around inside the top 5. Whoa, mix up in XC2, new leader, or new old leader. Angus Riordan back out front. Liam Draper hot in pursuit there in the number 2 spot. Big number 1 on his back and wanting to get around Gus Riordan so he can show him, hey, this number 1, this is why I have it, because I win these races. I'm going to need to pass you, please. But he's not making it easy. There is Dante Oliveira. Can't give that guy enough love. Traveled a long way to be here and doing very well here today. Looks like possibly Trevor Bollinger behind him there. Mike Witkowski, and then Grant Davis. So a mix of XC1 at Josh Strang. And nope. There is a Toyota
Camry.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was a Corolla.
Oh, maybe it was a Corolla. All right.
Yeah, we do love our Toyotas.
And what lap is the Corolla on?
Any corporate executives from Toyota here watching, tuning in, we'd love to have you guys come on board.
Sure.
We'll talk about the durability of your machines. That is our drone pilot, Gabe Schultz.
Gabe's Camry.
That is his Toyota
I thought
Camry.
it was a Camry.
A pretty strategic camera shot, if you ask me.
All right, white flag waving. Ricky Towery signifying one more lap of racing. These guys are a few miles in already here, and absolutely a battle going on up front. Johnny Gerard has led this thing, Mikey, virtually wire to wire at this point. He's kind of been uncontested since the first couple laps where Ricky Russell kept him honest, but he's not opened up a big gap. It's just kind of been, 15, 20, 25 seconds. We saw it get down as close to 15, and then the official scoring time shows 25.1 seconds heading out at the white flag. That is the difference. That's what Stu Baylor needs to make up. That's what Johnny Gerard is going to try to keep. I'm quite certain that Johnny Gerard will be fine winning by .00025 seconds, but it makes it a little easier when you got a gap. You just, you can take your time a little bit getting through those lappers. You don't have to rush things and force things, which can sometimes lead to mistakes. Man, this has been a whole new Johnny Gerard today.
Yeah, and you know what? Doing it from the start, essentially, Johnny Gerard has. So if he can hang on here for just a little bit longer, capture that first win, that's going to carry so much confidence for him through into Florida in a couple of weeks and then into the rest of the season of being, where do I stack up against the guys? Well, I'm a contender now.
Sure, absolutely. And it's one of those things where, you can do it. He's won a GNCC overall before. Here he's on screen. But this is just reminding yourself, little dab. Every lap, it seems like those guys get a loose there. That's got to be a pretty gnarly route. But, he's maintaining that lead over the 5:14 of Stu Baylor. Still no Stu. Maybe him. A lot of lapped riders. And we're being told 17 seconds is the gap. There is Stu. But man,
in a sea of lap traffic.
I believe we're going to see those gaps seesaw just based on the number of lap riders, because Johnny would have had to pass all these riders in the last section. Now Stu's had to pass them all. So those gaps are going to widen and close. Oh, Grant Baylor has made the pass. He's gotten around Jordan Ashburn. Let's see if we can keep this camera shot, see if we can see. That is still Ashburn behind him. It is Evans. Was that Evan in between them? No, there's Evan there.
There's Evan.
So fourth place, third place is still now Grant Baylor. Fourth place. So two Baylors on the podium as they run. Jordan Ashburn fourth and Evan Smith fifth, but still in sight, both Ashburn and Smith inside of a podium position with Grant Baylor just there in front of him.
It's turned into a good one. Real good one late.
I wonder if we could get possibly get our team of producers to run that footage back and see what the gap is from Grant to Stu to see just how far that.
I'm very unscientific, but I was counting it almost back up to 25. But
okay.
I'm not positive we can.
Johnny had one yesterday. It was like spot on to the second. So no pressure, Brock.
Yeah. No pressure.
I was 4/10 off, but I did say I was rounding. I said it's going to round to around 40 seconds.
I was just looking at the race clock on screen, and
mine was actually counting and calculating because there was no clock.
What do we have? 24 is what it was. That what we just heard? 24.
Did you? Okay. He's 18 seconds. 18. That is the gap. Just confirming with our producer, the gap between Stu Baylor in second and Grant Baylor in third is 18 seconds? Question mark.
I think so. I think that's what he said.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. 18 seconds. So he's made up ground. At the finish line, it was 28 seconds back to Jordan Ashburn with Grant. Here we go, Mikey. Call this one as we're told he's coming in. The defending champ.
Oh, no number plate, no front fender, but hey, still trying to go see a checkered flag.
Yeah,
pulling over, letting guys by.
Letting the
XC2 guys by.
XC2 guys by. He's obviously, I'm guessing
he's nursing that thing.
Thinking it's a little mangled. He's trying to get that thing to the finish line to gain some points here today.
Oh, that is a heartbreaker for Craig. But if he can still salvage some points, you know what?
And when he checked in, he was still sitting there in the number 10 spot. In the overall, already behind Grant Davis, Liam Draper, Angus Riordan on corrected time anyway. So it wasn't like he was actually giving up any actual physical positions there. He was just giving up a little bit of time correction. Yeah, right. But as we see behind him there, it looked like that was just Trevor Bollinger coming by there.
And Oliveira.
Dante Oliveira. That is 11th and 12th. So those would be the next two riders behind him in the overall.
And another number plate and another fender missing. It seems to be the call of the day.
That's how it's going. Hey, getting down to the nitty-gritty in this one. Johnny Gerard trying to hang on. Stu Baylor in hot pursuit, wants to win at home in South Carolina, as does his brother, Grant Baylor. We'll find out who it's going to be right after this here on Racer TV.
You know, when I take the bike out like this, all my stresses just melt away.
I hear that. This bad boy can fix anything.
Yep, tough day at work. Nice cruiser sort you right out.
When I'm riding, I'm not even thinking about my painful cavity.
Oh, you shouldn't ignore that.
And every time I get stressed about having to pay my bills, I just hop on the bike, man.
Oh, come on, man. You gotta pay your bills.
You don't have to worry about anything when you're protected by America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
Well, you definitely do. Those things aren't related, so...
Ah, yee! Oh, that is a vibrating pain.
It's a big world out there. How do you choose to see it? When you crave the long canyons, rocky trails, rutted tracks, and lonely highways, they become a part of you. Podiums and personal records, we choose it all. Because life is about moving and feeling. It's about being connected to the adventure. Some just never pull the trigger. They keep waiting, wondering what it means to wander. It's a big world out there. You just need to ride where you belong.
Whatever you drive, however you drive. AMSOIL specially engineers lubricants to maximize power, performance, and protection in your vehicles, so you can work hard and play hard with confidence. Order online at amsoil.com.
GNCC Racing on Racer TV is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You could save hundreds on car and motorcycle insurance. Specialized turbo e-bikes. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready.
And we are ready for a finish here at the VP Racing Fuels Big Bucket GNCC. Going to be a wild one. Surely you folks have been watching us at home. If not, Johnny Gerard leading the way. Stu Baylor in hot pursuit. Grant Baylor in hot pursuit of Stu. And there goes Buzz past the Racer TV camera. Johnny Gerard leading the way. How far back is Stu now? Last time we saw was what, in the 17, 18-second mark?
25 seconds is what I believe you counted out,
right.
Brock.
Yeah, we'll see.
But that said, it was 238.39, I think it was when they came by. If I kind of looked up, so we're at roughly 20.
Stu.
23, 24.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, still into 20. It's a plus 20 for sure. So yeah, it's holding steady. I don't know if Johnny's just managing the race like we've seen so often if you watch motocross.
Whoa, Grant Baylor. He's made up a little bit of ground since it was 18 seconds. I think that was a little less there. Looks like it was, to me, it looks like it was about 16. So this is still contested. Grant Baylor not giving up. He's got that podium position. There is Jordan Ashburn, your fourth place rider, and Evan Smith in hot pursuit. Evan Smith, shout out to this guy. Man, just absolutely sent it. Russell Bobbitt actually here riding around on a bicycle, helping
nice.
Evan Smith out. Russell, multi-time national enduro champion, former GNCC contender.
Yep.
Georgia boy, Evan grew up, I believe, in his town or very close to him. And I saw him. I said, "Hey, what are you doing here?" He said, "I'm just here helping Evan." So he's got to be happy out there. And I'm sure a lot of pit boards flying saying, "Hey, man, you are running in the top 5.
Yeah.
Let's keep this going."
I don't know what Evan did in the offseason, but keep it up.
Yeah, big change was on that.
Bottle a couple, sell some of that. Yeah. He's definitely, Russell Bobbitt, obviously maybe helping him out.
Big change was on that factory beta team.
That's right.
And now he is back on a Husqvarna, which he had ridden previously prior to a few years on that beta, but had some great rides on that beta. Him and Jonathan Johnson both in that XC2 class, and then Evan actually stepping up, riding what he called the big girl, and had put in some impressive rides at the end of 2023.
Yes, he did.
No top 5s, I don't think, but some solid top 10s, and was up in the mix for quite some time on that factory beta machine. So he's a rider, man. He can do it. He's got the ability. He's obviously got the fitness because we're deep into this one, and he's still pushing the pace and right there making it happen. So shout out to him and the fans at home watching. Keep an eye out for that guy, the 347 machine, Evan Smith, proving that at least here today he is a contender, and judging off it today could continue to be a contender moving forward. The biggest contender of them all, Johnny Gerard, the 969 machine. He's getting it done.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice when you're, looking at brands. You say top Husqvarna rider, and go to Colin and hey, throw down a little extra help.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you got the two factory guys of Andrew DeLong and Trevor Bollinger, good ways behind him.
Craig.
What did I say?
You did say Andrew.
I did?
You
My
did
bad.
there.
Andrew, if you're watching
you.
at home, you're welcome for the shout-out.
There's a shout-out,
big
buddy.
bro, little bro, Craig DeLong. But, yeah, on screen, Johnny Gerard, 969, leading the way, starting to click off miles, starting to run out of real estate. If you're Stu Baylor, I'm struggling for names now.
It's okay. I did the same earlier. I called
Stu Baylor.
Grant.
You've got a limited amount of time to make up this ground. You're surely capable of it, but it's almost getting to the point where he's going to need a little hiccup from Johnny Gerard. He's going to need maybe a little snafu with the lap rider, maybe some bad line choices. Not necessarily to make up all the ground, but to get to where he can see him. Right now, he cannot. It's in the mid-20s. Somewhere is the gap, and then behind him, just maybe somewhere between 15 and 20 seconds behind him is baby bro Grant, and on a charge. Again, 23 seconds faster on lap number 4. If we look at the lap times on lap number 5, fastest guy was actually Evan Smith with a 28:37. Was actually 8 seconds faster than Grant Baylor, who was at 28:45. Those were the 2 fastest lap times. So as they came in, 4th and 5th place at the completion of lap number 5 were your fastest 2 riders on the track. We know Grant has actually gotten around Jordan Ashburn now, so he's up into that number 3 spot. But those guys were definitely on a heater.
I love these Yamaha drone shots. These are it just shows you, well, for one, it's perfect because the trees are mostly dormant, drop leaves. You can see pretty well. And you also just see the speed that these guys are going through these woods, how close they are to the trees and how fast they're going. And the discrepancy, obviously, we talked about. These riders in this late race right here, these are all the top riders in GNCC. This isn't the morning 8 o'clock wave. This isn't the 10 o'clock wave. This is the 1 o'clock wave where you have all your A riders and your top B level guys and the pros. And there's a big difference in speed and how fast these guys are going.
There is Stu Baylor at the 8-mile marker working his way up the hill climb. Johnny Gerard having already made it over the top there, some 20-ish, 25-ish seconds ahead. And look at this,
Grizzly.
Grant Baylor still maybe around the same. I haven't been counting. I've been my mistake. But he's definitely not lost ground, may have made up just a little bit. And the next rider we should see will be the 4th place ride of the number 3 Coastal Racing Gas of Jordan Ashburn, and there he is. But look at the heat coming from behind him, the 347 machine of Evan Smith saying, hey man, I may not be able to get to the podium, but one more spot higher in the top 5 looks pretty good on my resume.
So what do we got going in our XC3, the 125?
In the XC3 125, Dakota DeVore had taken over the lead there and had a pretty sizable lead when we last looked. Actually, we were waiting on Jack Walker to check in, and he has now. 3 minutes and 8 seconds is the gap. So that one, Dakota DeVore just needs to keep it on 2 wheels for this last lap. And shout out, Mikey, we were talking about it, top amateurs. Leading the way from that 258 class, it is Jason Tino in the number 19 spot overall, followed 7 seconds, 6.9 seconds, I believe it was, behind by Nick DeFeo, running in the 21st place overall. They have shaken it up a little bit now with 5 laps complete. Thad Duvall bumps still in ahead of them. 20th and 6.5 seconds behind is Nick DeFeo. So those two, same exact gap from a lap before. Just ahead of them is the XC2 Pro 250 rider of Thad Duvall, who is in that 19th place spot overall. He's actually lost a couple positions to Josh Toth. There we go. Johnny Gerard on screen, 9-mile marker. Mikey, 9 miles, 2 left to go. We're getting close. He's getting down to the nitty-gritty, but look at this, on a charge. Seems like less than 25 seconds to me, boys.
I bet Brock knows. I saw you watching the clock right there. What's the gap?
14 to 15 right there, so it's definitely closing up. But again, what are you going to do if you're Johnny? You've been running out front. You've got 20, 25-second lead all day long.
And we saw those lap riders in between. That's
correct.
I think a big part of
Grizzly.
You don't push it. You know, if it gets down to 5 or 10, then you got it. But he's only got a couple miles left before the finish.
But I'll tell you right now, 14 seconds is not a comfortable margin, even with a few miles. You want that to be more like 44 seconds.
Exactly.
So we'll see if Johnny can keep it on track, keep it on 2 wheels. Jordan Ashburn here now in the number 4 spot. Grant Baylor did come through there, the Grizzly.
Now in third. That's not a comfortable gap.
Evan Smith. Evan Smith is like, what's the word? White on rice? I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right.
He's all over it.
Correct.
Glue on something?
Stink on.
Yeah, I skipped over that one. He's like glue on a Band-Aid.
All over him like Russian radiation.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
Dog on a piece of meat. Let's go back.
I don't know if we can do the Russian radiation.
A dog with a bone.
Anymore.
That's what Evan Smith is right now. And Johnny Gerard is a guy out for a trail ride, but he's got some very fast Baylor brothers behind him pushing the pace. And he looks to be focused. Doesn't seem to not a lot of looks over the shoulder, just kind of clicking off the miles. You know, don't know exactly if he knows down to the second, but he does know he does not hear a revving, you know, Rocky Mountain, Red Bear Racing, Kawasaki behind him. So a little bit of comfort there, but I'm sure if he got a pit board right now that said, hey, Stu made up 10 seconds somewhere in that last section, maybe lappers, maybe just a push, might add a little sense of urgency. But again, still looking to be in hand with the mileage we have left and passing opportunities, but doesn't want to take any chances. Really starting to come down to the final sections here.
So I haven't been here for the Tiger Run, but when later in the year when the trees have foliage on them, I mean, the drone shot's not as impressive, right? I mean,
yeah, very true. We lose them.
This is awesome. I mean, just love watching this.
It shows you the speed, too.
Yeah, it shows the speed. You see the riders. Good Johnny Gerard's. This haven't set just as kind of as you draw them up, kind of a race, you know, if it holds to the finish here.
And I don't want to say even if it doesn't, but it's been a phenomenal race regardless of the outcome. I mean, this is, even the race he won, he didn't lead this much. I mean, he's led, he's controlled it, he's done exactly what you would, like you said, draw it up. If you could say, hey, here's a good race plan, let's try to execute this. Barring the last 2 miles and getting it to the finish, which, you know, I'm sure he's hoping to do here and complete this. If he does that, what could you really pick apart about today's ride? It's been perfect, textbook.
Yeah, this is exactly what the KTM team, Timmy and team manager over there, this is exactly what they were hoping he'd do. Step up, got the opportunity to step into that lead role and clean up position, and he's done it.
Can I make this about me for a second, Mikey?
Absolutely, Johnny.
All right, I like to do this. No, just kidding. We have a joke. I call him Imposter Johnny G.
Oh, yes,
We've been tied on XC1 wins since he got his last year.
True.
If he gets this one done, am I Imposter Johnny G?
Oh, no. He flipped the script on you. Oh, he got that back home for me. Hoosier, I believe, right? Hoosier GNCC was his win?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, this is a sad day.
And you got yours at X Factor. I mean, the similarities are, you know, so what I'm hearing is you're suiting up next year to go get a win at Big Buck. That's what I'm hearing.
You guys got more than I do.
Yeah.
Both of you, so it doesn't matter.
Took me 23 years. This is his second year in XC1 and looking like he might have 2. So he's on a little higher trajectory than my career, but nonetheless, great guy. Happy for him no matter how today turns out. It's been an absolute barn burner, and he has done everything right. We got some lapped riders. We're following him, the drone, the lap riders, you know, showing courtesy, getting out of the way. But somewhere back there, just out of camera shot, is a very motivated Stu Baylor on number 514 Kawasaki, and he's pushing because he knows not only does he want to get the win, but he also does not want to give up a position to his little brother who's behind him, absolutely stretching the throttle cable on that Monster Energy Babbitt's Kawasaki. So 2 Kawasaki's, 2 Baylors, 2 different teams, and they're pushing the pace, trying to get to the rear wheel of this guy right here. Johnny Gerard, the 969, and this is it, folks. This is the final wood section. They're working their way out. We've got some sections of auxiliary pro pits and pro pits coming up, and then the only thing standing between him and a checkered flag is a couple field corners.
I'll tell you, shout out to the drone pilot here. It's this camera work right here.
I'd love to know the speed our drone is going.
Oh, it's just mesmerizing to watch this, honestly. They're going so fast. That was just pretty amazing. Wow. 35 miles an hour. 40 miles an hour.
The drone.
The drone.
That is.
Yep, exactly. Keep up.
And he's doing it in clear air up above, which is impressive. Great drone pilot.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny Gerard's doing it through the trees. And moving motorcycles. Just crazy how fast
2 inches away from the trunk of a tree and a bunch of lapped riders. Incredible.
I just kept waiting for Stu Baylor to peek on the screen. They're watching that corner now.
There he is in the upper left corner. Yep, that was him there. So
just a little bit out of sight from Johnny.
Yeah, it's 10+ seconds still. Just a section of auxiliary pits coming up here, and then from there, one more wood section, some field turns, and we could be looking at our first winner of 2024 being the 969 Hectory Red Bull FMF KTM of Johnny Gerard on a ride dreams are made of.
Yep, chill. Let's see. It's doing a corner there on the right.
No, not him yet. He still hasn't popped out of the woods just yet.
Couple more corners.
Barring again, we're down to the final, not even miles. We're down to the final hundreds of yards here. He's got This is a long kind of windy wood section running behind the start straightaways, and Johnny Gerard at this point, you know, seemingly having this one in control. Really the only one standing between him and a win is himself. If he hits his marks, hits his lines, Stu Baylor just not close enough to make it. Definitely made a race of it, but not to make it through the final turns. He's just not close enough. He's put in a hero's ride coming from quite a bit back early in the race, and surely will have to be happy with this one. And 2 Baylors on the podium. Not the first time we've seen this, if they finish where they are. But first time we've seen him on 2 Kawasaki's.
That's true.
So it's definitely more things change, the more they stay the same.
That's right. Yeah, Johnny Gerard, he's been sensational today. Like you guys, this was the blueprint, and you know that that's what Auntie wants, that's what Timmy wants, that's what's expected out of that KTM rig. And Johnny putting on a show, just a few more turns to go here for him.
They're going to get to see him up close and personal.
Pro pit right here.
Some of the crew surely standing there cheering him on. He's going to go past the Husky rig there and work his way down. KTM rig on the left down here.
Wheelie.
A little wheelie. Keeping it on 2 wheels. Hopefully he doesn't stall it this time like he did on lap 1. He's got a few seconds to spare, but you don't want to give up any of those.
Spreading his wings out a little bit. You got to peacock a little bit. I mean, come on now.
I don't even think it's peacocking, man. He's just having fun.
He is. He's
a happy guy, likes racing dirt bikes, and the only thing better than racing dirt bikes is winning racing dirt bikes.
That's right. Yeah, it's funny interviewing him prior to the race. You know, I didn't expect anything outside of Johnny Gerard, but it was just like, I don't know, I don't feel any added pressure, Mikey. I'm going to go have some fun and race. And okay, it's Johnny. And that's probably how the post-race will be. He'll be all smiles, grinning ear to ear, but...
This is in my opinion, this is a real coming-of-age ride.
Kind of a breakout ride.
Agreed.
I was thinking same thing.
He got a win last year, and he earned that win. There's no question about it. But to come out round 1, make a statement, all the heavy hitters here, nobody seemingly. Craig DeLong obviously had a crash, but hey, that's part of racing. Johnny Gerard really had just kind of taken the point position early and said, hey guys, if you want to win this thing, you got to come through me. A lot of guys threw something at him. Stu Baylor came after him. Craig DeLong came after him. Ricky Russell was right there. A lot of the top players up front making a move and just not able to get it done. Here it is, folks. Mikey, we'll let you take this one.
Here we go. Johnny Gerard, a couple more turns, his head in the air, hitting the rev limiter, bringing it home for the checkered flag from Ricky Towery, the 969 factory KTM, doing it in style. Congratulations, Johnny Gerard, taking win number 1.
Fist bump there. He saw a fan wanted a fist bump.
Johnny, you got to work on your fist bumps, buddy.
That's right. Wife Selena and baby Ziggy there. You know he's happy. Daddy got a win today. Man, what a ride from that guy. Absolute. Again, I think a breakout ride and a kind of just a whole new Johnny G. There is Stu Baylor, comes across the line in second. Here comes Grant Baylor across the line in third. Man, 3 hours of racing, not a lot of time separated those guys. When we look at the times, we're going to get a word from these guys coming in. Ended up being 11 seconds, Stu Baylor behind. We saw Johnny kind of taking it easy through those final turns, but super close. 18 seconds back to Grant Baylor. 29 seconds separating your top 3. We'll get the top 5 while we wait for the update here. Looking like coming in that 4th place spot. Still not in. Jordan Ashburn and Evan Smith trying to settle that one, and there they are. Ashburn coming in 4th, and shout out to Evan Smith in that 5th place ride. What a great ride he had.
Thirsty man.
Happy man.
Happy man, for sure.
Look at that smile. Look at those luscious locks.
Yeah, beautiful. So Johnny Gerard, Stu Baylor, Grant Baylor, 1, 2, and 3 here today. Johnny doing a little bench racing after.
I believe he said, you know, I tucked the front end and I went down and I said, you know what, not today. We're going to get up and we're going to get this thing done.
That's a pretty good Gerard impression.
I'm not making fun of him. He's a good buddy.
No, I love Gerard.
He's got that New England accent.
Yep.
And we'll get to hear it here in just a moment. Either Jackson or Zach will be down there with them, get a word with our top 3. We'll wait and we'll watch. We still have, obviously, the rest of the top 10 in XC1, top 10 overall, and also our battle for that win and podium position. And looks like we do have Zach Herron down there. And Zach, take it away.
Yeah, guys, we are down here with your winner, Johnny Gerard. Johnny G was saying, man, I think you got him beat on wins now, but not only did you get the win, but a coming-of-age win, man, to do it from up front early to hang on for the entire 3 hours. How do you feel right now?
I feel awesome. That was great. I felt good the whole race, and, yeah, couldn't ask for anything more.
Absolutely. Well, we know this doesn't come easy. Talk about it. The trials from last year. You said last year in round 1 you were coming in hurt. Talk about how different it is coming into 100%, how you were feeling coming into the season, and what the goal is for the rest of 2024.
Yeah, I felt good. You know, I went to ISD after the season was over and didn't have much of an off season, and yeah, I was right back down in Florida, and kind of never skipped a beat this off season, and yeah, I guess it shows, and paid off, and yeah, I feel good for this season, and I love Florida. The sand whoops are next, so let's get it.
There you go, Johnny. You seem like you got things dialed in with the man. Let's talk about the machine. Who do you want to thank for helping you out in 24?
Yeah, the whole FMF Red Bull Factory Racing KTM team, my manager Timmy, mechanic Nick, and all the team sponsors, my amazing baby mama and little man Ziggy. They're here every step of the way with me. I couldn't do it without them. And yeah, Bicon and Scott, thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the 969 of Johnny Girard starting 2024 off with a win.
All right, there we go. And man, a very happy Johnny Girard. We did see our XC2 battle come in and cross the finish line. Angus Riordan getting it done there in the #1 spot. 2.2 seconds over our defending champion Liam Draper. So again, big comeback ride, just not quite able to seal the deal on that one. They end up 6th and 7th place in the overall. Still waiting on the 3rd place in that XC2 class. Last we knew it was Grant Davis. And here we go. Looks like we got Jackson Davis with one of our other podium finishers today.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Stu Baylor, our 2nd place here today. Stu, take us through that race.
Man, it was it was pretty tough. I made it that way, not intentionally. That start didn't do me any favors, and somehow Grant was even behind me. So we made a lot of passes there, and mid part of the race, I kind of took a little breather, and then we had a slow pit stop. Basically, I was wanting to make that charge after the pits. I knew I needed a lot of time to get up there, and yeah, just lost 2 positions in the pits, and man, it was so tough to pass. And what few lines there were out there that were left, it looked like the guys ribbing off, and I mean, there weren't more than 25 off, but I don't know what the hell was going on there. It was ridiculous. Like the few passing places we had, like it made it to where it was just stop and go, and you had to slam somebody to make a pass, and it was getting ugly out there. I mean, I didn't make any friends, and I was talking to Grant, same thing. So yeah, as much as the track got slowed down, it was ridiculous that we couldn't make any moves, and yeah, I was thoroughly upset with that. But yeah, we too little, too late. But I knew I was the fastest guy on the track, so we're ready for the next ones.
Stu, 2nd place is a good way to start off the season. You got some valuable points. How do you feel on this new Kawasaki?
Man, you know, it was good. I feel a whole lot more comfortable this year than last year. Just as soon as I got on these bikes, it was like something clicked. I was talking to my suspension guys when they asked, like, what do you want to go, what direction? And I was like, honestly, after last year, like just riding the stock bike, I'm happy, but it's going to take some time to make some notes. And I think we made I'm pretty sure the shock that I'm running and the forks that I'm running are stab #1, maybe a different spring rate because I lost a little bit of weight. But yeah, outside of that, like it was so easy to set up, and man, the confidence was there right away.
All right, that's what we like to hear. Everybody, that's Stu Baylor, your 2nd overall.
I wish there was some way of knowing how Stu felt about things. I love that he's always honest with us. We can bet on it for that. So
I appreciate that, man.
But no, hey, like he said, hey, I'm ready for the next 2. He comes away with a good result. Just don't make the season. We don't win it in one race. So now we want to hear from the other Baylor, and I believe he's standing by, I think, with Zach Herron.
Hey guys, I'm down here with Grant Baylor, our 3rd place here today. Grant, take us through getting a 3rd place here at round #1.
Oh man, it was a crazy day out there for me. Just got a little nervous there on the starting line and chopped the throttle before the bike fired, and man, it took probably 5 seconds for the bike to fire up. I was dead last off the start, and you know, Evan Smith actually wrecked in the first turn and still got up before me. So yeah, I got up, and then man, I just started picking my way through the pack. Me and Evan actually rode together for almost the whole race, and until about the last lap there. I caught up to Jordan and made a move on Jordan. Had to thread the needle to get by him, that's for sure. But yeah, got by Jordan without hitting a tree or anything, luckily, and yeah, my way through that last lap. I knew I was rolling faster than anybody out there. The guys in the pits told me I was running about half a minute faster lap times than the leaders, so man, I knew I was just on it and was feeling good out there. Just needed a better start to get up there and run with these top guys, but man, I was running them down there at the end, and it was an awesome race. The track was perfect, dirt was perfect. It was a perfect day. Weather was great. It's awesome. Great way to start the season up on the box. Last weekend at NPG had a DNF, so this is awesome bounce back.
Grant, how do you feel going into round number 2?
I'm feeling great, man. My neighbor Alan McKinney, he's been letting me ride out on his property there, and he's got about 2,000 acres bordered up to me, and he's got a big sand field he let us tear up, and man, I'm feeling better in the sand than I ever have. I've never been much of a sand rider, so yeah, getting to ride in the sand every day, it's been awesome. So I'm looking forward to Florida and seeing what we can do down there.
All right, everybody, that's your 3rd overall, Grant Baylor.
Mikey, observation coming out of that one. That is the most upbeat and positive I have ever seen Grant Baylor in a post-race interview. Even races he won.
Yeah.
Like, that, he's excited, he's pumped, he's happy, and that is bad news for the competition.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because he was on a charge today. And, yeah, all positive things from him. Love the track, love the bike. Can't wait for Florida. That's pretty cool.
It's terrifying how many guys are looking forward to Florida. We got to pull these sound bites for the end of the race in Palatka.
When we show them collapsed in a heap of themselves.
Lethargic and everything. But, boy, great ride by Grant, and like he said, not a good start, but yeah, clawed his way back, fought, and putting it on the box at the end of the day. He's got to feel good about that.
Man, such awesome racing action today. Again, we did, it was our 3rd place rider in XC2, Grant Davis, has checked in, so that is your top 3 as they finish. Again, Angus Riordan winning, Liam Draper in 2nd, and Grant Davis in 3rd. A lot of shakeups in the top 20, still coming in, still checking in. Some of those guys only 5 laps complete. You can go to GNCCRacing.com. All the live results are there. You can click on them, see how your favorite rider finished, not only if they're in the top 20, but anywhere in there. But some of the guys moving up on the last lap, Trevor Bollinger making some moves all the way up to 10th, Dante Alvera 11th, Josh Strang 12th, and Craig DeLong, last year's championship. A little bit of a story there, was able to hang on for 13th overall after what we saw, a big crash and a twisted up machine. Some valuable points.
And it sounds like Zach Herron standing by with our winner of the XC2.
Hey guys, yeah, I am down here with your XC2 winner, Gus Riordan, man. Let's talk about it. You're jumping over, still on the KTM machine, but joining this new team in 2024, and man, did you come out swinging. How are you feeling right now after grabbing the first?
I'm stoked. The bike's like a dream to ride. Krusty did an unreal job. I hopped on it yesterday for the first time, and I was like, I just want to sit on this thing all day. It felt that good.
Absolutely, man. Well, you got plenty of time on it today, 3 hours of battle. It certainly didn't come easy. Take us through what it took to get the win.
Yeah, I think I was about a third, fourth place start, and then I was able to make the lead halfway around, and then led all the way up until the fuel stop, and then me and Liam kept swapping leads all the way until about 2 miles to go on the last lap. I was able to get a past the stick, and yeah, brought her home.
Absolutely, man. You fought tooth and nail. You got the job done. Who do you want to thank for helping you out?
Yeah, just everyone. My parents back home. I think they're watching. My brother, the whole FMF KTM factory racing landers, 100% pod active, Cobram State Extra Virgin Olive Oil, and Krusty.
There you go, guys. That is your XC2 winner, Gus Riordan, getting the job done here at Big Buck.
Well, there you go. Really just an extension of 2023. It was a Liam Draper, Angus Riordan battle down to the final race of 2023, and they pick it up again, this time flopping positions with Angus Riordan getting the better of him, and our second place rider, Liam Draper, they're really close. 2.2 seconds was the gap coming across the finish line, so a battle right down to the end.
I think going to be a fun 2024 season watching those two go back and forth.
Absolutely.
Throughout the year.
And a lot of other riders in that XC2 class throwing their hat in the mix as well.
Oh, yes.
It's hard when you have the top 2 guys coming back and they're kind of still in their rhythm on the same bike. So a change of teams for Gus Riordan, going from the RPM team over to the Landers Racing KTM factory support team, but still same machine, same program more or less, and obviously coming out swinging in 2024.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And as we take a look at your results, Johnny Gerard taking first place here today, Stu Baylor second, Grant Baylor rounding out the box in third, Ashburn fourth. How about it for Evan Smith? Gus Riordan sixth, Draper seventh, Russell eighth.
Grant Davis ninth, little typo there.
Davis,
Johnny Gerard
actually in ninth. Yeah, little typo. And how about it for Trevor Bollinger? Good day for him. He said prior to the race, Mikey, I just want to go out there. I'm not really too focused on results. I want to see checkered flags this
year.
And
he did. Top 10. That's something to shake a stick at.
So great day of racing here in Union, South Carolina. We're going to head down to Florida next, Palatka, and play in the sand, where we separate the men from the boys and the girls from the women down there. No doubt about that one. Going to be fun. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. Johnny, big takeaway from today?
Exciting racing action and Johnny Gerard. Not a surprise as far as his speed, but not a surprise, but a pleasant trend in the right direction to see him again breaking through kind of a new trend for him. Just keeping it together the whole time, smooth, calm, collected, grabbing the win. I think obviously the Baylor brothers strong, and man, just good racing action all the way through.
Brock, what about you?
Same thing. I think that was a breakout ride for Johnny Gerard, and right now he's the guy to beat, obviously, with the championship lead right now. And again, growing up riding in the Southwick and South Massachusetts area, he's probably a good sand rider. So we'll see what happens in Palatka.
Love it. Brock Glover, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thank you guys for letting me crash the party. I just going to be a big GNCC fan.
I love it. We love to hear it. Well, on behalf of myself, Jackson Burrell, Zach Herron, Johnny Gallagher, Brock Glover, we'll throw you in there. We'll give you some love there. Our camera operators, JC, Matt, Josh, Mike, Jesse, and Kirsten. The drone operator, Gabe Scholl. Our manager, Dan Reinhardt. Dan, you got your name in there finally, buddy. You made room. Our spotter, Hollywood. Our EIC engineer in charge, that is Jordan McFadden. Our director, Don Hampton. Our producer, Adam Gordon. And the Carrie Jo Russell, our executive producer. I'm Mikey Waynes. We'll see you at the races.